Hi, welcome back guys. This is your sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Naruto Had an Anbu Partner? Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. You were sitting in your respective seat. Sans commented that you wanted to be on the floor, but the narrator interrupted him playfully. Just then, Naruto arrived with his usual enthusiasm, eager to start a conversation. He sat next to you and expressed his excitement about passing. You shared your happiness for him, hoping to be on the same team. In the midst of the crowd, many girls were shouting to catch a glimpse of Sasuke, the famous Uchiha. He observed you with curiosity, as you two had not met before due to your separate training. Just as Naruto was about to approach you, Iruka-sensei arrived and silenced everyone like a caring parent. Iruka announced that he had designated the teams and asked everyone to sit down. The students cheered, except for Sasuke and Shikamaru, one indifferent and the other asleep. Iruka revealed that Team 7 was unique as it had 4 members: Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Uchiha, and you. Sakura was thrilled to be on the same team as Sasuke but was also excited about having you, hoping you could teach her some fighting moves since she had heard you were trained by the legendary Sen. Sasuke felt mixed emotions about being with Naruto and Sakura but was glad to have the chance to get to know you better. Naruto was excited about being on the same team as you but was a bit disheartened about Sasuke's presence. You, however, were indifferent to the team dynamics. Sakura attempted to speak to Naruto, but he dashed over to you instead, asking if you had any plans for the day. You replied that you had none, and he suggested going for ramen, offering to treat you. You happily accepted, seeing it as a chance to eat. Sakura asked if she could join, and though Naruto hesitated, he agreed. Sasuke, wanting to be near you, also joined. When they arrived at the ramen shop, Naruto ordered his usual, and the shopkeeper asked what you would like. Naruto was flustered when the shopkeeper referred to you as his girlfriend, but you simply requested ramen as well. After enjoying your meal, everyone went home. Later, while waiting for your new sensei, Naruto expressed how much he loved being on the same team as you, though you asked him to keep his voice down. He apologized, and you reminisced about when you first met him. In a flashback, you remembered being a sweet girl in Konoha, known for your angelic appearance, but with a mysterious past. You had been found by the Hokage, who brought you to Konoha for a better life after a difficult discussion revealed you were the last survivor of an extinct clan. Weeks passed, and you were full of energy, often causing trouble. The Hokage tried to guide you, knowing you had great potential. You eventually started school, where you struggled to make friends until you met Naruto, who treated you kindly. Back in the present, Naruto was preparing a prank with an eraser when Sasuke pointed out that it was unlikely their sensei would fall for it. Sakura agreed with Sasuke, but you believed it could work. When Kakashi arrived, he accidentally dropped the eraser, confirming your prediction. Kakashi led everyone to the rooftop for introductions. He introduced himself in a laid-back manner, avoiding personal details. Naruto eagerly introduced himself, sharing his love for ramen and his dream of becoming Hokage. Sakura stumbled over her words, revealing her crush on Sasuke while expressing her dislike for Naruto. Finally, Sasuke introduced himself simply as Sasuke Uchiha. I dislike many things, and at that moment, Sakura felt a wave of sadness. However, there were exceptions, especially when she glanced at Tien unexpectedly. What she possessed was not a dream, she was determined to make it a reality. She would restore her clan and confront a specific individual. It was a new day, marking Tien's first day of training. She got up and began her morning routine with breakfast, a shower, and getting dressed to meet her teammates. Tien thought about how cold it was, hoping it would warm up soon. As she walked, she stumbled because of Kiba. He was her friend, and they shared a bond that felt almost sibling-like, but Kiba wanted something more than just friendship. Kiba apologized for bumping into her, explaining it was unintentional. He stood close, causing Tien's heart to race. She reassured him that it was fine and embraced him with a sense of nostalgia, expressing how much she had missed him. Kiba, blushing, admitted he felt the same but had to leave to join his team. He lamented not being on the same team as her, feeling downcast. Tien shared her disappointment but hoped they would see each other soon, waving goodbye. Kiba and his dog, Akamaru, returned the farewell. In a flashback, Kiba complained about how boring classes were, to which Tien suggested they escape. Kiba recognized her as the new girl who always hung out with Naruto. Tien pointed out their friends waiting outside the classroom, urging Kiba to hurry before Irika-sensei arrived. Kiba blushed as he mentioned his dog's name, Akamaru, and Tien complimented it. Days passed, and the group of friends continued to gather, much to Irika's dismay as it caused him endless headaches. Tien asked Kiba about his dreams, but he admitted he didn't know. They laughed, deciding to discover it together. Back in the present, Tien rushed to catch up with her friends, arriving just in time. Naruto greeted her warmly, and Sakura expressed her happiness at her arrival. Sasuke, observing Tien, couldn't help but notice how lovely she looked today, though he quickly dismissed his thoughts, reminding himself to focus on other matters. Kakashi arrived late, offering a humorous excuse about getting lost on the path of life. Naruto urged everyone to start training. Tien playfully commented on Kakashi's excuse, only to realize she had spoken her thoughts aloud. Kakashi instructed them to pair up for training, assigning Naruto with Sakura and Tien with Sasuke. Sasuke felt confident, knowing Tien was strong, while Sakura seemed concerned about Sasuke's pairing. As the training commenced, Tien showcased her impressive speed and strength, targeting Naruto and Sakura's weak points. Sasuke took advantage of their distractions to launch his attacks. Tien skillfully dodged their moves, demonstrating her training under Tsunade and Jiraiya. Kakashi observed her performance, acknowledging her abilities and noting that he had heard much about her from the Hokage. Tien and Sasuke emerged victorious, celebrating their success while Naruto expressed his frustration. Kakashi concluded the training session, reminding everyone to rest for the next day. Tien bid her friends farewell, and Naruto looked forward to seeing her again. The exams were about to begin, and Tien felt a mix of excitement and uncertainty about how it would go. She prepared herself for the first day, changing her clothes and having breakfast. As she made her way to the exam venue, she encountered Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, who were also there to participate. They were joined by some newcomers from other villages, including a red-haired boy, a cat-like individual, and a girl. Konohamaru rushed towards Tien, tears in his eyes, expressing how much he missed her. Tien acknowledged their long separation but had to leave him for now, promising to see him later. The four students headed to their designated area for the Chunin exam, where they were met with the curious gazes of the other participants. As Tien took a deep breath, she felt a familiar presence. It was the Shinigami, who only visited when he had something to discuss or needed her assistance. He reminded her that their connection allowed her to hear him while others could not. Kiba, noticing Naruto, teased him about being part of a so-called super team. Naruto, determined to prove himself, declared that he would become the greatest Hokage, while Kiba challenged him, claiming the same goal. Shikamaru, feeling the tension, urged them to focus on the task at hand, but their banter continued until a newcomer named Kabuto warned them to be cautious. Kabuto revealed his experience in the exams, having failed multiple times. He advised them not to let the pressure get to them. As Naruto stood up with newfound determination, Tien noticed his nervousness, which was unusual for him. Sakura, concerned for Naruto, scolded him for his outburst, attributing it to his mental state. Meanwhile, Gaara and his companions observed the group from a distance, intrigued by their dynamic, especially Tien's presence. As a ninja from the Sound Village charged towards Naruto, Kabuto intervened, and Tien quickly shielded them from the impending attack. She managed to protect both herself and Kabuto, who thanked her for her quick thinking. Ibiki Marino, the proctor of the exam, introduced himself and laid down the rules. He emphasized the seriousness of the written test, warning that if one team member failed, the entire team would be disqualified. Tien felt a wave of anxiety wash over her, especially knowing that Naruto struggled with written exams. As the exam began, Tien noticed a boy sitting in front of Naruto who seemed to have all the answers. She decided to help him, using her own skills to assist him without drawing attention. After completing her exam, she wrote a note to Naruto, letting him know she had answered half of it for him. With determination, TN was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in the exam, hoping to support her friends and prove herself in the process. Even if you can still get a passing grade, everything Ibiki said won't affect you. Since you fainted for a couple of minutes, Gaara witnessed what happened but chose not to intervene. Minutes passed, and you regained consciousness. You thought about how hungry you were and noticed that Naruto seemed more relieved. To keep the story brief, everyone finished the exam, and only a few managed to answer the last question. The second exam would follow. Anko Mitarashi introduced herself, declaring that this exam would be their worst nightmare. She would be in charge of them all, and the exam would consist of survival. Behind her lay the forest of death. As a first requirement, they would need to sign a consent form, as she would not be responsible for any deaths. This was a competition where anything was allowed. Each team would be assigned a scroll, either Earth or Heaven. If a team had the Earth scroll, they would need to obtain the Heaven scroll and make their way to the tower. After explaining everything, each team received their corresponding scroll. Kankuro asked Gaara what was wrong, sensing something off about him. Kankuro tried to brush it off, but Gaara had darker thoughts about a certain girl. Anko then declared that the exam would begin. Naruto exclaimed that this would be easy, while Sakura warned him not to do anything inappropriate. Naruto insisted he needed to use the restroom, but Sakura scolded him, hitting him lightly. As they were bickering, you sensed someone nearby, prompting Sakura to ask if you were serious. Suddenly, Naruto was attacked from behind and sent flying, but you stepped in front just in time, causing both of you to tumble and end up in an awkward position, faces close together. Naruto apologized to Tien, who blushed in response. Tien reassured him not to worry. Naruto commented that she felt warm as he touched her forehead, to which Tien insisted it was nothing. Sakura then called out to Naruto, urging him to get up, lifting him as if he were a sack of potatoes. Sasuke informed them that they had visitors. The visitors were ninjas from the Sound Village, a team that would be dealt with quickly. One of them threw a kunai, but Tien, using her elemental abilities, was able to stop it. Naruto created shadow clones, and while one fought, Tien attacked from behind, injuring an enemy. However, a teammate threw a bomb, causing chaos and leaving Naruto vulnerable. Tien rushed in to save him, sustaining injuries to her ankle and back in the process. Sasuke managed to wound an enemy, and Naruto did the same, while Tien took down the one who had hurt her. Tien then excitedly announced that they had the Sky Scroll, declaring it perfect. Sakura agreed, saying they could finally leave, but Naruto expressed concern over Tien's injuries. Sasuke insisted they should still move forward and offered to help her by supporting her waist. Later, Sasuke suggested they could spend the night in a safe place. Sakura asked Naruto to fetch medicinal plants and Sasuke to get water, to which they both agreed. Sakura then awkwardly asked Tien to remove her clothing to tend to her wounds, quickly apologizing for her phrasing. Tien laughed, reassuring Sakura that she understood and removed her shirt, revealing her scars. Sakura, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness, looked at Tien. Tien acknowledged that it was strange for Sakura to see her like this, especially with her scars. Sakura insisted it was not strange at all. Just then, Naruto returned, prompting Sakura to tell him to go away, covering Tien, who was indeed beautiful. Naruto complied, and Sakura began to treat Tien's wounds, feeling her heart race and her face heat up. Tien thanked her with a lovely smile that could brighten anyone's day. Unbeknownst to them, someone was watching from the shadows. Gaara wondered who Tien was, his mind racing with curiosity. Kankuro suggested they head to the tower, but Gaara declined, wanting to stay behind. After Kankuro and Temari left, Gaara felt a strong urge to confront his emotions and find Tien. As he searched for her, he found her not alone. Sakura was there, tending to Tien's injuries. Tien thanked Sakura, who assured her everything would be fine. Gaara realized he needed to wait for the right moment to approach. Meanwhile, Naruto checked on Tien, happy to hear she was feeling better. Sasuke brought food, and the group cooked together before settling down for the night. Tien and Sasuke remained awake, and as Tien went for a walk, Sasuke followed her. Sasuke expressed his relief that Tien's ankle had healed. Tien thanked him for his help, smiling brightly. Sasuke, slightly flustered, acknowledged her gratitude. They shared a moment of silence, feeling a mutual attraction. Suddenly, a loud noise startled Tien, causing her to cling to Sasuke in fear, bringing them closer together. Sasuke, feeling the tension, said he had to leave abruptly, rushing back to Naruto and Sakura, leaving Tien alone. A stranger appeared, introducing himself as Gaara from the desert. Tien asked what brought him there, and Gaara was taken aback by her friendly demeanor, admitting that no one had ever treated him so kindly. Tien asked if she could continue to be friendly, but Gaara felt compelled to leave, overwhelmed by his emotions. The next day, Sasuke pondered why he felt nervous around Tien, confused about his feelings. Naruto, too, found himself wanting to be with Tien, dreaming of holding her hand. Sakura, meanwhile, felt conflicted about her feelings for Tien and her connection to Sasuke. Chapter End. Narrator Reyes. Good morning, stars. The world says hello. With just that phrase, everyone was awakened. Naruto, still sleepy, thought it was too early. Tien disagreed, insisting they needed to leave quickly since there were only 4 days left and a long journey ahead. Sakura agreed, emphasizing the need to get moving. Sasuke reminded them to prepare, as other ninjas might already be aware of their presence. Sakura checked on Tien, who proudly posed like Guy-sensei, showing off her recovery. They gathered their belongings but took a moment to have breakfast. Tien noticed that most of the group was looking at her strangely. She asked if something was wrong, jokingly wondering if she had something on her head. This made everyone blush, leaving her confused. Naruto stammered that it was nothing, while Sasuke turned away, also blushing. Sakura scolded the boys to stop staring at Tien and handed her a sweater, which Tien gratefully accepted. As they continued toward the tower, a voice interrupted them, declaring it was time to finish them off. Naruto questioned who the speaker was, and the figure introduced himself as Zuko, suggesting they play a game. He then indicated that the others should start first. Naruto charged at the 3 opponents, but a girl among them swiftly cast a jutsu that put him to sleep. Tien rushed to carry Naruto behind a tree for safety. Hearing Sakura call out Sasuke's name, she ran to find him on the ground, a poison mark on his neck. Tien shouted for Sakura to get away and managed to stop a kunai aimed at her by creating quicksand to immobilize the girl. However, Zaku attacked her from behind, using a jutsu that hurt her ear. Tien, unfazed, shot a piercing look at Zaku, who blushed and froze. She struck his leg, using her elemental powers to keep him still. Meanwhile, a boy with a mushroom haircut rushed to help, but Tien remained cautious. She asked who he was, and he introduced himself as Rock Lee, stepping in front of her to block an attack aimed at her. He smiled shyly, and Tien returned the smile, causing him to blush even more. Tien took on the girl, striking her stomach and legs to hinder her movements. She then launched fireballs at Zaku, who managed to evade most but was still grazed on the ankles. Concerned for the situation, Tien used her elemental powers to seal the wounds on her hands and rushed to assist Lee, who was injured. She asked if he was okay, and he confirmed he was fine. Zaku suggested they leave, apologizing for the trouble and warning that they wouldn't escape next time. Lee admired Tien's strength and beauty, questioning his feelings for Sakura as he watched her fight. He wanted to know her name, and she introduced herself with a warm smile. Tenten checked on Lee, relieved he was unhurt aside from a minor injury. Neji scolded him for rushing into danger, and Tenten echoed his concern. Tien apologized for interrupting, thanking Lee for his help before she had to leave. Lee wished she could stay longer, but she had to go. Neji asked for her name, and when Sakura thought he was referring to her, she felt frustrated. Tien introduced herself again, and as she departed, Tenten expressed a desire to fight her, while Neji noted her potential. Tien and Sakura took Naruto and Sasuke to a safer location for recovery, but Tien noticed something unusual about Sasuke. She pointed out a mark on his neck, and Sakura agreed they would ask him about it in the morning. For now, they needed to rest. Narrator. Naruto and Sasuke woke up feeling refreshed and decided to wake Tien and Sakura in a playful manner. Sasuke questioned Naruto's plan, but Naruto, armed with a bucket of water, was determined. With a splash, he threw water on the girls, waking them abruptly. Sakura was furious, demanding to know why he did that. Naruto, seeking protection, hid behind Tien, who just wanted to sleep more. Sasuke apologized, reminding them that they needed to leave quickly as they had already lost too much time. 3 days remained, and at the pace they were going, time was running out. Sakura wondered how they would change, and Tien encouraged her, saying that the key was to survive. With determination, they set off, running through the trees toward the tower, as was their usual routine. Tien called out to Sasuke, asking about the mark on his neck. Sasuke remained silent, lost in his thoughts. Flashback. That night, after Sasuke had run off, he encountered a ninja from the Sound Village. The mysterious figure revealed they were not just there for Sasuke or to take the scroll. They had come for Sasuke himself, knowing he was consumed by the hatred of wanting to kill his brother, Itachi. The figure offered him a gift, hoping he would appreciate it. The entity detached itself from Sasuke's mind, causing him immense pain and leading him to collapse. The figure ominously stated that soon, Sasuke would seek the power they offered. End of flashback. As Tien spoke, a wave of pain surged through Sasuke, alarming the entire team. Sakura cried out for him, noticing he was not himself. Tien insisted they needed to hurry and get Sasuke to the tower for treatment, aware that Orochimaru was nearby. Sakura hesitated, concerned about Sasuke's condition, but Tien urged them to move quickly, warning that the mark would only worsen. Naruto agreed with Tien, noting that Sasuke looked unwell. Tien offered to carry Sasuke on his back, instructing the others to stay alert for any ambushes. Sasuke did not resist and allowed Tien to help him. They continued on their way to the tower, arriving safely. Upon entering, they discovered a message that seemed incomplete. Naruto expressed confusion, while Sakura noted the missing words. Tien suggested they might need to open the scrolls together, and Naruto agreed, trusting Tien's judgment. Together, they opened the scroll, their initial fear turning to joy as they realized it contained poems. Irika appeared, greeting them warmly. Tien expressed her excitement at seeing him after so many years. Irika explained what would happen next, and the group listened intently. He clarified that they needed to combine the missing words, which spoke of the body and mind. He emphasized the importance of balancing both to overcome weaknesses. As they prepared for the next exam, Sakura noted that it seemed they were being awaited. The audience watched them closely, and Kakashi greeted them, noting how lovely Tien looked. He guided the team to receive instructions for the upcoming exam. Enko announced that they would have preliminary rounds, allowing participants to withdraw if they wished. Hey-8 Gecko introduced himself as the judge for the preliminaries, explaining that each opponent would face another, with the winners advancing to the third exam. As names appeared on the screen, tension filled the air. Tien felt uncertain about fighting, while Hey-8 began to cough, signaling the start of the matches. The names flashed quickly, and the first matchup was revealed: Gaara versus Tien. Temari doubted Tien's chances against Gaara, while Kankuro encouraged his brother. Tien prepared herself, thinking it might be fun. Gaara felt a surge of excitement, eager to release his pent-up emotions. As the match began, both competitors stared at each other, unsure of who would strike first. Tien decided to take the initiative, charging forward with determination, reminiscent of Lee's style. Guy wondered if Tien could reach Lee's level, while Lee marveled at her impressive taijutsu skills. But that won't deny that I will be better at whatever I set my mind to. Guy, I hope you are proud of me. Gaara quickly countered, using his sand to shield himself. In contrast, you attacked him up close, and due to your speed he couldn't react in time. You utilized your element to create blades and launch them from behind. As Gaara became stressed, he surrounded you with sand little by little. You thought to yourself how annoying it was. Someone nearby acknowledged that you could defeat him. You were startled by the sudden voice but reminded yourself to focus. You knew you had limited chakra and didn't want to exhaust yourself, so you decided to rely on taijutsu. Just like Lee, you had weights on your legs and arms, but you removed the ones from your legs, placing them carefully on the ground, though they ended up breaking. You expressed that it wasn't your intention to cause that, but you challenged Gaara to show you what he could do. In a moment of impulse, Gaara surrounded the area with sand, ensuring you had no escape. If you stepped out of line, he would strike at your weak points. You noted that for those without taijutsu, it would be their end, and all those who faced him had weak taijutsu, which was why they fell. You teleported behind Gaara, asserting that it would be different with you. You kicked him, not too hard, realizing he had protection after protection. You had no choice but to use your jutsu. You sat down in a thoughtful pose, placing one hand on the ground while using the other to perform the necessary movements for a ninjutsu. Your element emerged from the ground, preventing the sand from shielding Gaara. With a blade of ice, you managed to cut his shoulder, causing him to cry out. Gaara laughed, then screamed in surprise and anger as he glared at you. In retaliation, he attempted to trap you in a sand coffin. You screamed as you fell to the ground, causing concern among your friends. Gaara wanted to continue, but Kakashi, Naruto, and Sakura intervened before you lost consciousness. You heard the Hokage and Hayate mention that both of you had advanced to the third exam, and that was when you fell unconscious. After the coma, you found yourself in a dreamlike state, sensing your mother nearby. You urged yourself to wake up, questioning whether he feared that he had harmed her or that he still harbored a demon within. You called out for your mother, feeling agitated. As you opened your eyes, tears streamed down your face in frustration. Sakura was there, relieved to see you awake. She asked how you felt and explained that she had come to check on you since the third exam was approaching. You inquired if you had passed, and she confirmed that you had, along with Gaara. You asked how long until the exams began, and she told you it was in 2 days. Sakura apologized for needing to leave but left you some food. You thanked her for keeping you company, explaining that while in a coma, you could sense everything and hear everything, including her singing. She dismissed it as nothing and wished you to rest before closing the door. You reflected on the 2 days ahead when a familiar voice startled you. Jiraiya appeared, and you exclaimed in surprise at his presence. He wished you wouldn't call him that, but you interrupted him with a tight embrace, expressing how much you missed him. He returned the sentiment, placing his hand on your head with a joyful expression. Gaara reflected on the situation, feeling a sense of vulnerability he had never experienced before. Sasuke was deep in thought, realizing that he was not growing stronger at the pace he desired. He felt the need for more power to achieve his revenge and considered seeking help from Tien or Orochimaru. Tien called out to Jiraiya, demanding his attention. Jiraiya, surprised, asked what she wanted. En insisted that he knew exactly what she was after. She expressed her excitement about wanting to read the renowned book, Making It in Paradise, edited by Jiraiya. Jiraiya laughed, realizing that was her request, and handed it over to her. Tien was overjoyed, thanking him profusely, while Jiraiya playfully wished she would always call him that. As they spoke, Jiraiya mentioned he would be training Naruto soon after the exams, while Kakashi would train Sasuke. Tien felt a bit left out but was invited to accompany Jiraiya, which she eagerly accepted. Jiraiya was pleased to have her along and left to speak with Kakashi. Tien decided to spend time with Naruto and Jiraiya, knowing Jiraiya would be distracted. She wondered who had taken her clothes while she was in the infirmary, realizing she was not in her usual outfit. With the competition only 2 days away, she felt the need to rest and fell asleep, hoping for a peaceful night. The next day, she was surprised by a visitor. Kakashi greeted her, having come to check on her. He noticed she hadn't trained and reminded her that the exams were the next day. Tien assured him she wasn't too worried. Kakashi, aware of her usual demeanor, asked if she was training Sasuke, to which she confirmed that he had sealed his mark. She reflected on her past encounter with Orochimaru, recalling how he had offered her power and promised to return when she was older. Kakashi, sensing her unease, suggested they talk more privately. Tien agreed but needed to change first. As she left for the bathroom, Kakashi couldn't help but admire her, feeling a mix of emotions he didn't quite understand. Once she returned, Tien suggested they go for a walk, but her stomach growled, prompting Kakashi to propose they grab something to eat instead. They walked together, appearing close as they made their way to Ichiraka Ramen. Upon arrival, Tucci greeted Tien warmly, noting it had been a while since she visited. She ordered her usual, and Kakashi requested a traditional ramen. As they waited, Kakashi inquired about what was troubling her. Tien explained her concerns about Orochimaru's intentions and the potential threat he posed to Konoha. She laughed, trying to lighten the mood, teasing Kakashi about knowing who was behind his mask. He was surprised by her knowledge and playfully scolded her for sneaking into his house. They enjoyed their meal, and as they walked through the park afterward, Tien expressed her gratitude to Kakashi for his support. He reminded her to focus on her present actions rather than worrying too much about the future. Tien hugged him, thanking him again. Kakashi, caught off guard, called her love unintentionally, realizing he had let something slip. Tien was taken aback by the term, and Kakashi quickly brushed it off. As their day came to an end, Tien prepared to leave, grateful for his company. Kakashi urged her to be cautious, especially with Sasuke's situation weighing heavily on his mind. Meanwhile, Jiraiya was searching for Kakashi, eager to share important information about Orochimaru's impending plans. He confronted Kakashi about his thoughts on Orochimaru, expressing concern over the potential disaster that could unfold if Sasuke pursued revenge. Kakashi acknowledged the threat, knowing that Orochimaru and the Akatsuki were after powerful entities, including Naruto and Tien. They both understood that they needed to be vigilant as they awaited the challenges ahead. The next day, Tien woke up in the hospital, realizing she had made a mistake by staying there. She groaned, feeling the effects of the medicine, and panicked when she saw the time, knowing there were only 2 hours left before the next exam. The girl considered whether to bathe at home or visit the hot springs. The narrator confessed that if she were in Naruto's world, she would go to the hot springs every day, imagining how delightful it would be to relax there. She decided to go home for a cold shower instead. As she climbed out of the window to head in that direction, she lamented the state of her home, feeling overwhelmed by the mess. Suddenly, a voice interrupted her thoughts, commenting on her situation. It was her pet, a snake that she had affectionately named Cobra. The snake had come to visit her because it had heard she was participating in the Chunin exams. It slithered up her arm, a reminder of the training they had shared. She expressed how much she had missed the snake, which responded by suggesting she should take a shower since she smelled like medicine. The narrator clarified that the pet could be any animal, but she had chosen a snake because she liked the name. The girl took a shower and changed her clothes while her pet snacked nearby. She reflected on how her pet always seemed to appear during times of trouble, whether it was when her friends were in danger or when disaster struck. As she dried her beautiful hair with a towel, she felt a sense of unease. Just then, someone was peeking through the window, eavesdropping on her conversation. It was Lee, who sheepishly admitted he had been worried about her after her week in the hospital. She thanked him for his concern and asked him to wait while she finished changing. Lee blushed when he saw her in a state of undress, but Cobra reassured him that she wouldn't bite. The girl went to change in the bathroom, preparing for the third exam and hoping to win. Once ready, she emerged and asked Lee how she looked. He was so taken aback that he blushed, stammering that she looked lovely. She appreciated his compliment, feeling uplifted, and invited him to accompany her to the tournament. As they left her house, her pet climbed onto her shoulder, and they looked like a couple, drawing the envy of everyone in Konoha. Lee asked her how it felt to fight against Naruto, and she admitted that the thought made her nervous. He encouraged her, expressing his belief in her abilities. She thanked him, feeling a surge of confidence from his support, and hugged him joyfully. Lee blushed deeply, feeling warmth for her. At that moment, he gazed at her with admiration, not wanting her to leave, but they were interrupted by another boy. Neji approached, looking for Lee. He asked if Lee wanted to join him for the match, but noticed he was already with someone. The atmosphere grew tense with jealousy between Neji and Lee. The girl greeted Neji and invited him to join them, to which he agreed, intrigued by the unfolding dynamics. As they walked together, Neji stood beside her while Lee remained on the other side, both feeling the tension of competition. Neji mentioned he had heard she would be fighting Naruto, and she admitted her nerves about it. Neji reassured her not to worry too much, suggesting that things might change during the match. Lee chimed in, affirming her spectacular abilities and confidence in her victory. Finally, they arrived at the venue, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Thank you for your attention, beautiful lady. Music for you all. If you don't like it, that's fine by me. The atmosphere was charged with excitement as the participants gathered. The teacher addressed the group, asking who would be taking part in the exam. Lee, feeling a bit out of place, opted to step aside, wishing good luck to his friends. TN entered the venue with a mix of curiosity and anticipation. Inside, the room buzzed with energy as Naruto, Shikamaru, Temari, Kankuro, Gaara, Neji, and TN prepared for the upcoming challenges. Sasuke was notably absent, which left a lingering question in the air. The crowd was filled with eager spectators, all eyes on the competitors. Shino was also participating but in a different exam, showcasing his remarkable skills without needing to compete in this one. Naruto greeted TN with enthusiasm, expressing his relief that she was feeling better. Shikamaru, though seemingly annoyed, revealed that he had been worried about her when she fainted, which he claimed was a hassle. TN found amusement in Shikamaru's mixed feelings, recognizing her ability to worry him. On the other side of the room, Temari reminded Gaara to stick to their plan, knowing his tendency to get distracted by emotions. Gaara felt a warmth in his heart at the sight of TN, battling with his own feelings. A voice called for attention, instructing everyone to line up for the exam. The crowd erupted in cheers as they welcomed Genma Shiranui, the examiner. He explained the rules. Participants would fight until one could no longer continue or chose to withdraw. The judge could intervene if necessary, but victory would not solely depend on strength. Strategy and intelligence were equally important. Genma announced the matchups, starting with Sasuke against Gaara, followed by Naruto against Neji, Shikamaru against Temari, and Kankuro against TN. The audience buzzed with excitement, but the absence of Sasuke raised eyebrows. They were given a brief waiting PRD, and if he did not arrive, the matches would proceed without him. Sakura anxiously wondered about Sasuke's delay, while Ino tried to calm her down. Choji munched on snacks, oblivious to the tension around him. TN cheered for Naruto, wishing him good luck as he prepared for his match. Naruto, filled with determination, asked if he could give her a hug for good luck. TN embraced him warmly, and he reciprocated, feeling a surge of encouragement. Genma called for attention once more, announcing that they would proceed with the second match since Sasuke had not yet arrived. Naruto promised TN that he would win and prove his strength. With a heart full of hope, TN placed her hand over her heart, wishing him well as the match began. The crowd roared as the first battle commenced, setting the stage for an unforgettable competition. Genma announced the start of the match, reminding everyone of the rules. Neji confidently declared that Naruto's destiny was to lose this fight, to which Naruto retorted that destiny did not exist. The narrator noted the irony of the boy who was part of a prophecy making such a claim. Neji insisted that Naruto was already defeated. As the battle progressed, it seemed that Naruto was on the verge of losing. However, in a surprising turn of events, he sprang up from the ground and delivered a powerful blow to Neji, securing his victory. Genma declared Naruto Uzumaki the winner, impressed by the boy's resilience. The Hokage acknowledged Naruto's newfound ability to control the Nine Tails, while Sakura cheered him on, and Ino expressed her surprise at his strength. Choji remarked that they had misjudged him, and TN praised Naruto's performance. Naruto, filled with joy, rushed toward TN and embraced her warmly, their hearts connected. He expressed that he achieved this victory for her, but TN humbly replied that it was Naruto's own strength that led him to win. As the time travel arc unfolded, everyone completed their exams, with Naruto and Shikamaru emerging victorious. TN enthusiastically cheered for Shikamaru, who urged her to calm down, finding her excitement overwhelming. When TN faced Kankuro, he unexpectedly surrendered, raising TN's suspicions. Cobra Guy questioned TN about her feelings regarding Kankuro's decision to forfeit, to which she replied that it was a relief. Genma then announced that TN was the winner, and the next match would be Gaara vs Sasuke. In the audience, some spectators expressed disappointment that TN would not fight, while others speculated about her abilities. They decided to place bets on the outcome of the match, with one betting on Sasuke and another on the boy with the pumpkin. Genma informed everyone that they would wait 10 minutes for Sasuke to arrive, warning that anyone who did not show up would be disqualified. Kankuro, concerned for his brother Gaara, hoped that he was safe. Gaara assured him that Sasuke would come. After the 10 minutes passed, Sasuke finally arrived, looking more powerful than before. Kakashi expressed his hope that Sasuke was not too late. Sasuke arrogantly asked Naruto if he had just won, and Naruto confidently confirmed his victory, challenging Sasuke to not lose, as he wanted to face him next. Tien mentioned that she did not participate, but Sasuke expressed his desire to fight her as well, to which she thanked him. Genma announced the beginning of the final match, Sasuke vs. Gaara. Kankuro urged Gaara not to mess things up, but Gaara remained silent. As he walked toward the arena, he stumbled upon Tien, who wished him good luck, leaving Gaara feeling captivated by her. After their brief exchange, Gaara encountered two opponents who ultimately met their end. Genma declared the match to begin, and Sasuke launched an attack using taijutsu, but it was ineffective. However, Gaara was injured for the first time, causing him to lose control and partially transform, unleashing a terrifying side of himself. The audience gasped in fear as Gaara screamed in pain, creating a tense atmosphere. Kankuro and Temari exchanged worried glances, recognizing the danger Gaara was in as he succumbed to his darker instincts. The Hokage and Kazekage observed the chaos unfolding, with the latter revealing his true identity as a transformation. The situation escalated, and the audience began to panic as danger loomed over the village. Tien, feeling frustrated and alone, decided to follow Gaara, suspecting that something was amiss. Cobra Guy encouraged her to pursue Gaara, and Tien, realizing the urgency, prepared to use her cloning technique to create a duplicate of herself. This clone would allow her to be in two places at once, maintaining her abilities and skills. Shino Aburame approached Tien, expressing his concern about the unsettling events. Tien agreed to let him accompany her in tracking down Gaara, instructing her clone to assist the Hokage, who was in danger. With gratitude, Tien and Shino set off to help Gaara and confront the unfolding crisis. Pollo de la buena suerte. Sometimes, the author wondered why people liked their story. They would read it and think about how they felt. It was good that there were always people around to encourage them not to delete the story. Shino had something important to say. He wanted to express his gratitude for always being treated like a real person, something no one else had done. He thought about how telling Tien he liked her might lead to disaster if she didn't feel the same way. Tien reassured him that he didn't need to thank her, as he had always been important to her, and she smiled brightly. They ventured into the forest where Gaara was headed. In a flashback, a child pleaded for mercy, crying out in desperation, while another boy mocked him for caring about insects. A brave little girl intervened, threatening the bully with a kunai, declaring that the boy was amazing and not strange at all. The bullies decided to leave, but Tien delivered a swift blow to one of them, leaving him breathless. She extended her hand to the boy she had defended, asking if he was okay and showing him the beauty of the snow. The boy, Shino, complimented her, and Tien returned the sentiment about his insects, making him smile. They exchanged names, and Tien learned that Naruto had spoken of her. She expressed her desire to see his insects, and he eagerly agreed to show her. Back in the present, Naruto was awakened by Sakura, who reminded him they had a mission to follow Sasuke. Kakashi instructed them to wake Shikamaru, who was pretending to be asleep. Pakin, Kakashi's dog, bit Shikamaru to wake him up. Kakashi urged them to hurry, and Guy made a hole in the wall for their exit. Pakin would guide them to Sasuke, and Tien was already on her way. Kankuro sensed someone following them and noted that 3 figures were closing in. Temari suggested setting traps to slow them down, and Kankuro volunteered to handle it. Suddenly, Tien confronted Kankuro, asking about Gaara. He dismissed her concern, but another figure told her to follow Gaara while he faced Kankuro. Tien hesitated but agreed, hoping to reunite with Shino soon. After a short while, Temari worriedly called out to Gaara, who was struggling with his emotions. Just then, Sasuke appeared, and tension filled the air. Tien felt she was getting closer to her goal and hoped she wouldn't be late. Meanwhile, Naruto sensed Gaara's presence and alerted the group. Pakken warned that they were not alone, counting 8 approaching figures who were not allies. Shikamaru suggested they distract the enemies, but it would require someone to take on the role of bait. The suggestion weighed heavily on everyone. Naruto stepped forward, declaring he would be the bait. Shikamaru argued that he was more suited for the task, but Naruto insisted, wanting to help Tien and support their team. Shikamaru acknowledged Naruto's determination, recognizing the importance of their bonds and the lessons they had learned from each other. Gratitude passed between them as they prepared for the challenges ahead. Sasuke felt a sharp pain in his shoulder, a reminder of the ongoing battle. The agony intensified, and he struggled to maintain control over his Chidori. As Gaara attacked relentlessly, fueled by anger, Sasuke found himself momentarily immobilized by the cursed mark. Just as Gaara prepared to strike, Tien arrived, pulling Sasuke out of harm's way. Tien assured Sasuke that she had come just in time and offered him a potion to help alleviate his pain. Sasuke, confused, questioned what it was, and Tien urged him to drink it for relief. Gaara, furious, declared that he would finally defeat Sasuke. Before Gaara could act, he launched sand projectiles toward Tien. However, she skillfully countered with her own elemental abilities, protecting Sasuke and maneuvering him to safety. Temari, observing the chaos, realized her brother was becoming increasingly dangerous and decided it was best not to intervene. Tien instructed Sasuke to stay put while she confronted Gaara. Sasuke's thoughts spiraled into self-doubt, feeling helpless and overwhelmed by his pain. Gaara, enraged, demanded to know why Tien was protecting Sasuke, questioning their relationship. Tien firmly stated that Sasuke was her friend, and she would do everything to protect him. In a surprising turn, she also acknowledged Gaara as someone important to her, calling him a friend. Gaara, taken aback, grabbed Tien, but she did not resist. He brought her close, expressing his confusion and frustration. He then threw her to the ground, but Tien used her powers to shield herself. As Gaara surrounded her with sand, he attempted to crush her, but her abilities saved her once again. Tien confronted Gaara, revealing that he was not the only one burdened with pain and loneliness. She empathized with him, explaining that the judgment he faced was not his fault, and no one deserved such treatment. Gaara, momentarily shaken, was interrupted by Naruto's arrival. Naruto charged in with a flurry of shadow clones, catching Gaara off guard. Tien seized the opportunity to escape the danger. Naruto demanded Gaara release Tien, showing his concern for her well-being. Sakura joined the fray, inquiring about Sasuke's location. Tien pointed him out, but before they could regroup, Gaara unleashed a wave of sand, injuring Sakura and trapping her. Sasuke, unable to move, urged Naruto and Tien to get Sakura to safety while he distracted Gaara. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Naruto summoned his clones to attack. Despite Gaara's defenses, one clone executed a surprise move, causing the sand to collapse. Gaara, frustrated, questioned why they were protecting each other so fiercely. Naruto explained that they accepted him for who he was and that he would sacrifice everything for them as they had saved him from his own despair. Tien added that Gaara could also find salvation. As Gaara's anger escalated, he tightened his grip on Sakura. Sasuke, determined, instructed Naruto and Tien to escape with her while he kept Gaara occupied. In a moment of desperation, both Naruto and Tien called upon their summoning jutsu. Naruto summoned Gamabunta, the giant toad, while Tien called forth a magnificent phoenix named Aiko. Gamabunta greeted Naruto with a mix of amusement and authority, while Aiko playfully teased Gamabunta about his age. As the tension in the battlefield grew, Aiko expressed her frustration at not being the center of attention, while Gamabunta focused on the task at hand. Tien explained to Naruto that Gaara's exhaustion was due to his lack of sleep, which allowed the Shikaku, the one-tailed beast, to take control. With the stakes higher than ever, they realized they needed a strategy to awaken Gaara and confront the beast within him. The battle was far from over, and the fate of their friendships hung in the balance. It had been a long time since he felt trapped, but now he could finally be free. Gamabunta stated that they needed to wake him up. He turned to Naruto and Tien, explaining that they required assistance for this task. Aiko, being the flying type, was asked to help Tien climb onto Ichibi's back, while Ni was to assist Gamabunta in case of an attack. Aiko questioned why she should follow the orders of an old frog who had no sense of style. And I urged her to do it for their queen, Tien. Aiko reluctantly agreed but insisted on a condition: they would play cards afterward, as it had been a long time since they enjoyed such games like in the old days. Gamabunta replied that it was fine, but they needed to focus on the plan for now. As the battle against Shikaka raged on, the Leaf Village faced one of its most challenging moments. The clone of Tien declared that they would assist the Hokage as requested. Cobra, a powerful ally, expressed eagerness to help, hoping for Tien's support. At that moment, Tien's pet transformed into a larger, more imposing version of itself, causing destruction around them. Cobra remarked that it had been a long time since they had enjoyed their true form. They believed themselves to be a goddess and felt the need to summon their disciples, knowing the village could not save itself. The serpent called forth two similar creatures, and the ground trembled under their weight. Cobra proclaimed their identity as the queen of the elemental forces, invoking the serpent god of art, Kenet, and the fearsome god of death, Yelo. They warned that invoking them would have consequences, as they were in the midst of creating art in the skies and on the earth. Yelo added that having all three of them together was a significant matter, urging the elemental god to justify their actions. The Anbu operatives were alarmed by the sight of the serpents, unsure whether they were allies or foes. One Anbu explained that these were the three serpents of balance, and their presence signaled the arrival of wolves, birds, and even dragons. Another Anbu recalled that only one person in the world could summon them, and it was Tien who had been chosen. They needed to remain vigilant in case she unleashed the demon. Kin, the true name of Cobra, instructed her allies to improve the world. She assigned Kenet to the south and Yelo to the north, while she would guard the sides, commanding them to eliminate any serpents summoned by their enemies. Yelo speculated that the purple serpents were part of the opposing forces, while Kenet expressed boredom, longing to paint the sunset instead. Kin reminded them that a simple sky could be comforting. Each followed Kin's orders, and when they reached their positions, Kenet used ink to defeat the purple serpents, excitedly declaring that a bit of fun was better than wandering among paintings all day. In contrast, Yelo took the lives of the serpents, their souls whisked away as if they were mere wrappers. Once they had dealt with the remaining threats, the three created a protective barrier to prevent any ninja from entering. Shikamaru reflected on the situation, feeling a strong desire to defend the village and save Tien, recognizing the support she had given him. In a flashback, Choji suggested they talk to the new girl, trying to remember her name. Shikamaru, indifferent, claimed not to care. Choji noted that she often sat alone when Naruto was absent, prompting Shikamaru to reluctantly approach her. Choji introduced himself and Shikamaru, and Tien greeted them warmly, pleased to meet them both. Choji asked for Tien's name, to which Tien replied that they were Tien and suggested skipping classes since they were bored, expressing their exhaustion. Shikamaru chimed in, agreeing that he would like to leave as well, finding it tiresome to be there. With that, they both ran off to Shikamaru's favorite spot, a place they visited together every day. Choji would share snacks, while Shikamaru and Tien would talk about the clouds that appeared each day. Shikamaru mused about wanting to be a carefree cloud, and Tien expressed a desire to be the sky, so they could be together. That day truly warmed Tien's heart, igniting feelings they hadn't expected, and they felt a bit like an old person for thinking so. As the scene shifted, Tien's clone successfully infiltrated the so-called protected area where Orochimaru and the Hokage were located. The clone remarked on how easy it was to enter, crediting the water element for their stealth. Observing the battle, Tien saw the Hokage fighting with all his might against Orochimaru, who had summoned two revered Hokages from the village. One of them charged at the Hokage while the other engaged with the first Hokage. The clone quickly intervened, acknowledging Sarutobi's strength and expressing admiration for fighting alongside the founders of the village. Sarutobi questioned how Tien had managed to enter, to which the clone explained that Tien had cloned herself to assist, as she was engaged in another battle. Sarutobi was not surprised. He had expected such resourcefulness from her. Orochimaru, noticing Tien's clone, commented on her presence and asked if she had found the answer he sought. The clone firmly stated that the answer was no. Orochimaru lamented the wasted potential, suggesting he would turn to another vessel, the Uchiha. The clone acknowledged that Sasuke was Orochimaru's next target but felt powerless to intervene, recognizing that it was Sasuke's destiny. At that moment, the two Hokages performed jutsus that transformed the area into a forest, with branches moving to ensnare Sarutobi and Tien's clone. The clone felt her chakra dwindling, fearing that if it continued, the demon within her would emerge. Sarutobi called forth a summoning jutsu, and Enma, the Monkey King, appeared, questioning Sarutobi's choices. Enma expressed frustration over a missed opportunity to eliminate Orochimaru, while Tien's clone, feeling the limitations of her abilities, executed a transfer jutsu, disappearing from the grasp of the branches and reappearing behind one of the Hokages to immobilize him. Orochimaru, impressed by Tien's skills, acknowledged her charm, but the clone remained focused on her mission. Enma asked about her presence, and the clone explained that she was a clone sent to fulfill a mission. Enma requested that she relay a message to Tien, warning that if the chakra of the demon began to rise, it would lead to chaos, and they did not want a spectacle after dealing with Orochimaru. Orochimaru challenged the situation, eager to see who would prevail, the elder or himself. Tien's clone felt her chakra waning, and Gamabunta, the giant toad, called for action. The plan was set in motion, with Aiko assisting from the skies while Ni protected Gamabunta. Shikako launched air blasts at Aiko, but she was swift, and Gamabunta followed Ni closely, preparing for battle. Sasuke, feeling overwhelmed, expressed his frustration, feeling insignificant in comparison to the situation unfolding. Gamabunta instructed Naruto to perform a transformation jutsu, turning him into a creature with claws and teeth to aid in the fight. Naruto struggled to think of the right form, while Ni provided support from behind. As the battle raged on, Aiko warned against underestimating their opponent. She shielded Gamabunta before retreating, prompting Naruto to think of the nine-tailed fox and transform Gamabunta into that form. He then attempted to seize Shikaku, but quicksand ensnared him, preventing movement. Tien called out to Naruto, urging him to help his friend. Aiko encouraged Tien to go, and she sprinted toward Gaara, determined to aid him after he had been injured by the sand. In a moment of clarity, Tien reached out to Gaara, who recognized her voice and expressed his vulnerability. Tien reassured him that everything would be all right, promising her presence would bring comfort. Gaara, feeling a sense of belonging, found solace in Tien's words, realizing he was not alone. After awakening Gaara, Shikako returned to his body, and the invocations vanished at that moment. The three boys fell to solid ground, visibly injured from the impact. Naruto, gathering his strength, crawled toward Gaara, followed closely by Tien. The two boys from the Leaf Village were determined to show Gaara the bond of their friendship. Gaara questioned how they still had strength left. Tien, despite spitting blood from her exertion, reassured him that they were there for him. Gaara, in disbelief, demanded they stay away. Tien approached him, her determination unwavering, explaining that humans often fail to appreciate what they have until it's gone. She urged him to cherish the things he loved, as one never knows when they might lose them. As Tien encouraged Gaara to look at the beautiful sky, he began to reflect on her words. After a long silence, his friends Kankuro and Temari arrived, expressing their concern for him. Kankuro thanked Tien for her help, while Temari insisted they get Gaara to the hospital. Sasuke, stepping in, offered to take them, but Tien insisted he should only take Naruto and leave her behind, requesting reinforcements instead. Just then, Tien sensed Sarutobi was in danger. She closed her eyes, trying to escape her pain, but a sudden vision of Sarutobi being pierced by a sword jolted her awake. She realized she needed to be by his side, just as he had always been there for her. Dispersing her shadow clone, she magically appeared in the midst of the battle between Orochimaru and Sarutobi. Seeing Sarutobi on the ground, wounded and uttering his final words, Tien felt a surge of emotion. She cried out for him, tears streaming down her face. Orochimaru, furious, cursed Sarutobi, but Tien confronted him, demanding to know what he had done. As the surroundings began to collapse, dark chakra enveloped her, transforming her into a formidable presence. Her wounds began to heal, and with a fierce glare, she broke free from the restraints around her. In a swift motion, she kicked Orochimaru out of the barrier, leaving everyone astonished by the power she now wielded. Orochimaru, realizing the threat, ordered a retreat. The 4 members of the Sound Village who had created the protective wall grabbed Orochimaru and fled, leaving behind a sense of despair. Tien, overwhelmed with grief, called out to Sarutobi as the jutsu dissipated, revealing the destruction around them. She expressed her gratitude for their time together, acknowledging his death as one befitting a king. Sarutobi, despite his fading strength, encouraged her to remember their conversations and to believe in herself. He gifted her a special necklace, passed down through generations, urging her to take care of it. As Sarutobi's life slipped away, Tien pleaded with him not to leave her, but he reassured her that he was proud of her and that she was capable of achieving anything she set her mind to. "I couldn't express how much I cared for you. Thank you." At the end of his life, a faint glow surrounded Sarutobi's body. The sky began to weep, mirroring the sorrow of the young girl, Tien, as the village lay in ruins, much like her heart. Tien felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, knowing that everyone else held resentment, yet she held love for him. The first words he spoke to her echoed in her mind, ending with a simple thank you. With the blood that fell onto her hand, she felt a connection to him. The girl summoned a sea of white roses from the ground. Holding one tightly, she pressed the thorns into her palm, letting the blood flow. She placed that blood on Sarutobi's heart and bid her final farewell. A day had passed since he left, and Tien reflected on the loss of her only family. Now, she would face solitude, surrounded only by those who supported her. This day was marked by tragedy for all he loved and served. His work had been an honor and a blessing to many. Irika approached her, asking if she was ready. Tien replied affirmatively, though her heart felt heavy. As she walked on that cloudy day, the gray clouds filled the sky, reflecting her sadness. The thought of his absence hurt deeply. He deserved his rest, didn't he? His death was not in vain. Irika reminded her that he had left her something very important, noticing the sadness she concealed behind her smile. Tien acknowledged this with a laugh, urging Irika not to waste any more time. They arrived at the place where souls find peace, where everyone stood in reverence, each holding a white rose. Tien wondered if bringing a bouquet was excessive. Irika encouraged her to go first, assuring her that everyone would pay their respects afterward. Tien agreed, though she struggled to find the courage to face the others. She stood there, waiting for her turn, thinking of her grandfather and the man she had lost. "Thank you for everything." Even the sky wept. Sad days are unavoidable, but even a simple smile can light up a room shrouded in darkness. And they disappear to form a cloud. I was that drop that fell, and where you formed it, turning it into a beautiful and spectacular cloud where you can see different possibilities. Chapter end. Narration by Tien. For weeks have passed since my recovery. Naruto and Jiraiya went to fetch the 5th Hokage, and I heard it would be Tsunade. Here I am, wrapped in blankets that smell of medicine, with bandages on my arms, eating hospital food and taking medication. The fight left me vulnerable, and now Jiraiya is returning with Tsunade. I wonder how they are doing. Narration by Naruto. Naruto was filled with excitement at the thought of seeing Tien again after 2 weeks of not being able to visit her. He couldn't bear knowing she was unwell. He urged Tsunade to hurry, wanting her to help Tien and Sasuke. Jiraiya, trying to get Naruto's attention, paused their walk to share something important. He explained that Tien had completed her training and possessed impressive skills, including taijutsu and specialized jutsus. However, he revealed that she would not be coming with them. Naruto was taken aback and saddened by this news. Jiraiya explained that they believed it was best for Tien to train separately under a ninja master, as they had discussed her future. As the boys arrived in the Leaf Village, Tien was visited by her dear friend, Lee. Nervously, he knocked on her door and was welcomed inside. Lee expressed his joy at seeing her and brought her a gift, showing his support during her recovery. Tien appreciated his kindness and noted how he always made her happy. Lee then nervously asked if she would like to go out with him once she recovered, to which Tien happily agreed, making Lee the happiest person in the world. He jumped for joy and ran off to share the news with everyone in Konoha, oblivious to Naruto and the legendary Sannin's arrival. Naruto rushed in, excited to see Tien, and jumped up in joy. Jiraiya reminded Naruto to be courteous, while Tien admitted to feeling a bit unwell. Tsunade assured her that she would help her feel better. Tien was overwhelmed with emotion upon seeing Tsunade again, running to give her a warm hug. Shizune joined them, and the three shared a heartfelt moment, with Tien embracing her like a sister. Naruto was surprised to hear Tien refer to Shizune as her sister, and Jiraiya explained that it was because Shizune had saved her from Tsunade's rigorous training. Tsunade playfully defended her training methods, and Jiraiya suggested they leave Tien with Tsunade for her examination. Once alone, Tsunade informed Tien that she would be taking on the role of Hokage and would decide her future. Tien expressed her uncertainty about her future, but Tsunade revealed her plan for Tien to join the Anbu. Tien was surprised but understood that she would no longer be training with Jiraiya and Naruto, but under Tsunade's command instead. Tsunade reassured Tien that after her recovery, she would excel in her new role, possibly even becoming a leader. Tien accepted this new path, acknowledging that her health was the priority. Meanwhile, Sasuke felt insignificant and believed his only option was to seek power. Tsunade later asked Tien for a report on her time in the Anbu. Tien shared her experiences, noting the challenges of wearing a mask and the excitement of her tasks. However, Tsunade wanted to know about the fight against Orochimaru. Tien explained that Orochimaru had targeted her for her body, revealing his immortality depended on taking over other bodies. She recounted how he had been observing her and Sasuke during the exams and mentioned the 4 sound ninjas who had not participated in the battle. Tsunade listened carefully and decided Tien would have a mission to monitor Sasuke. She instructed Tien to report back if he encountered the sound ninjas, emphasizing that she should not approach or interact with him. Tien accepted the mission and vanished as any Anbu would. Shizune expressed concern for Tien, but Tsunade reassured her that she trusted Tien's abilities and believed she would soon be a leader in the organization. Tien continued to express her desire for a peaceful life, dreaming of a future where she could relax and enjoy the clouds. As she walked toward the hospital at night, she hoped to protect Sasuke, feeling a mix of anxiety and determination. She noticed Sasuke was with 4 others and wondered if they were fighting, deciding to stay and observe for a while. Tsunade warned not to get involved. She watched anxiously as Sasuke was being attacked, wanting to help but knowing she shouldn't. Eventually, she realized something was wrong and went straight to the Hokage. After explaining the situation, they rushed to the scene, but found no one there. The next day, some ninjas discovered Sakura, and that's when they realized Sasuke had taken the initiative to leave. Tsunade slammed her fist on the table, causing it to crack. Tien thought to themselves that her temper was intimidating. Tsunade called for Shizune, instructing her to summon Shikamaru Nara. Shizune acknowledged and hurried off. Tsunade then turned to Tien, stating that she couldn't afford to send a Jonin, so Tien would go with Shikamaru's team. Shikamaru arrived, looking annoyed at being summoned. Tsunade urged him to quickly devise a strategy, revealing that Sasuke had left the village. Shikamaru questioned what was going on, and Tien asked to explain the situation to Tsunade. Tsunade agreed, requesting Shizune to bring her a valerian root. Tien explained that Tsunade was reacting this way because Sasuke had abandoned the village. Shikamaru was surprised to hear that Sasuke had actually left. Tien handed Shikamaru a list of team members for the mission, noting that they had to act quickly. Shikamaru looked over the list, expressing doubt about the team's capabilities. Tien reassured him that those were the only options available and they needed to move fast. Tsunade urged them to leave, stating that Tien wouldn't be working as an Anbu today. Shikamaru reflected on Tien's status as an Anbu, wondering about their mask. They rushed off to inform the others, knowing they couldn't afford to waste any time. Time passed, and everyone was giving their all. Choji and Neji separated from the group, while Shikamaru, Kiba, Lee, and Tien continued on. Naruto headed straight for Sasuke, determined to convince him to return home. Despite Naruto's efforts, he couldn't bring Sasuke back to the village to start anew. Naruto would leave his friends behind, while Tien stayed to train with an old ninja. Meanwhile, Sakura began her own training. Jiraiya told Naruto it was time to leave. Naruto promised Tien that he would become stronger for them. Tien assured him they would be waiting with open arms when he returned. Naruto thanked them for the encouragement and vowed to Sakura that he would come back to save Sasuke. Jiraiya reminded Naruto that there was no time to waste. Naruto shouted his goodbyes, and in the distance, a new beginning was on the horizon. Tsunade informed Tien that they would also undergo training, traveling from village to village with someone who would teach them a lot. Tien agreed. Tsunade explained that the training would last a year, after which Tien would return to their role as an Anbu. However, no one would know of Tien's presence, as they would be working for Tsunade and the organization. This secrecy wouldn't last forever, as Naruto's return would mark Tien's public reappearance. Tien confirmed their agreement. Tsunade then welcomed Saitama into the room. He was to be Tien's trainer, and Tsunade instructed him to take great care of them. Tien thought to themselves that Saitama didn't seem old, more like Kakashi's age. Saitama urged them to get moving, emphasizing that they were short on time. Narration: it had been a year since Saitama began training Tien, and now she was distracted. Tien was absent-mindedly picking her nose when she suddenly stood up, excitement bubbling within her. Today was the day Naruto returned. After so long, she would finally be able to show her strength to everyone instead of just watching from the sidelines. She placed her hand over her heart, feeling a surge of determination. Saitama chuckled, calling her his favorite disciple. He thoughtfully placed a hand on his chin and revealed he had a gift for her. Tien's eyes lit up with curiosity as she asked about the gift. Saitama smiled and presented a sword, hoping she would like it. If she preferred another weapon, he could provide that as well. Tien thanked him, feeling a mix of gratitude and sadness. Saitama reminded her that he wouldn't be around anymore, but he had taught her everything he knew about ink manipulation and life lessons. He was proud of her for activating the power of her agile eyes and for learning to control her demon. Tien expressed her thanks, knowing this was a farewell. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she tried to hold them back. Saitama, sensing her emotions, urged her to stop joking about farewells. Tien acknowledged that he would be leaving and hoped his journey would be beautiful. Saitama wished her a good trip, commenting on how her mask was intimidating but that people would still appreciate her. Tien found his words strange but waved goodbye as she headed to meet the Hokage. When she arrived, Tsunade greeted her warmly. Tien pointed out that it had only been half an hour since she submitted a report about the caravan. Tsunade reminded her that today was Naruto's return, and Tien felt a rush of excitement. However, Tsunade quickly tempered her enthusiasm by assigning her a mission. Tien protested, claiming it was exploitation, but Tsunade insisted it was not since Tien had signed a contract. She explained that Tien had a week left to complete her seal and could not be sent out without it being secure. Tien reluctantly agreed to the mission, which involved gathering information on Orochimaru, as she was the only one who could get close to him. After a brief pause, Tien expressed her disappointment but accepted the task, promising to control her seal. She drew a giant eagle on a scroll, waving goodbye and asking Tsunade to tell Naruto she missed him. A few minutes later, Naruto was searching for Tien, asking Sakura if she had seen her. Sakura realized she hadn't seen Tien since Naruto left and admitted she missed her. Naruto suggested they ask Tsunade if she knew anything. Sakura agreed, and they headed to find her. When they arrived, Naruto greeted Tsunade enthusiastically. She was pleased to see him and informed him that TN had just been assigned a mission. For weeks passed, and it was finally time for TN to return. She received a message from Tsunade and teleported back to the village, aware that Kakashi had been injured in a fight with the Akatsuki and was in the hospital. Tsunade was waiting for her arrival. TN bowed respectfully, expressing how much she had missed everyone and eagerly inquired about Naruto. Tsunade explained that Kakashi was unwell and that TN would need to accompany her to the hospital. As they walked, TN noticed the curious stares from the villagers, wondering if it was due to her intimidating mask. Tsunade informed her that Kakashi had fought the Akatsuki and would be replaced by Yamato, also known as Tenzo. TN found it amusing that she would now take orders from someone she had once commanded. Upon arriving at the hospital, Tsunade announced their presence. TN was surprised to see Kakashi, who recognized her voice immediately. She removed her mask, revealing how much she had matured. Kakashi was taken aback, noticing the changes in her appearance. Tsunade urged Kakashi to share details about his battle with the Akatsuki, and he complied, albeit with a hint of embarrassment. Meanwhile, Naruto and Sakura were eagerly waiting for their new sensei. Sakura reminded Naruto to be patient, as it was a valuable quality. Suddenly, a figure approached them, and Naruto recognized him as the one who had attacked him earlier. Tsunade called for Yamato to enter, introducing him as TN's former leader and now their new captain. TN greeted Yamato with a smile, which caught his attention. He was surprised by her maturity and beauty without her mask. Tsunade instructed them to proceed with their mission, and TN and Yamato promptly vanished to meet their new. When they arrived, TN spotted Naruto and rushed to embrace him tightly. He reciprocated the hug, overwhelmed with joy and expressing how much he had missed her. TN complimented him on his growth, and they shared a heartfelt moment. She then turned to Sakura, embracing her as well, and they exchanged words of affection. Yamato, sensing the moment had gone on long enough, reminded them to focus. Naruto, curious about Yamato's role, learned that he would be their captain while Kakashi recovered. Sai, another member of their team, apologized for his earlier actions, explaining he was curious about Naruto's strength. Naruto dismissed the comment, feeling a mix of annoyance and determination to prove himself. Sakura stopped Sai, feeling frustrated. She expressed that they needed to work as a team and get along, emphasizing that it was important for him as well. Sai laughed, questioning her belief. Sakura pointed out that his way of expressing himself wouldn't endear him to anyone. Sai retorted that he got along well with everyone, including her, despite her strong demeanor. Sakura reacted with surprise, warning him to be careful with his words. Yamato intervened, suggesting that Sakura should take her own advice and preventing her from striking the pale boy. TN stifled a laugh at the exchange. Yamato then announced that they were about to enter action and, although he wished he had time to help them adjust to each other, they needed to introduce themselves. Naruto eagerly declared his name, looking enchanted at TN. Sakura introduced herself as well, admiring TN's beauty. TN smiled brightly and introduced herself, while Sai offered a smile that felt forced. Yamato concluded the introductions and briefed them on their new mission. He explained that they would head to the Tenchi Bridge to capture a spy from the Akatsuki who had infiltrated their ranks. This was their chance to gather information about Orochimaru and Sasuke. He instructed them to prepare their things and meet at the main gate. Naruto suggested that it might be better if only the three of them went, but he was excited to share everything with TN. Sai observed that TN seemed to attract a lot of attention from Naruto and wondered why, noting her charm but guessing she must have a unique personality. Naruto insisted that replacing Sasuke would be foolish, while Sakura pointed out that the spy might remind them of him. TN affirmed that their goal was to bring him home. Naruto expressed how much he missed TN, feeling he could say it all day. Sakura echoed his sentiment and asked what TN had been up to. TN playfully put a finger to her lips, signaling it was a secret. Naruto, eager to impress her, wanted to show her everything he had done in recent days, determined to prove his strength and reciprocate his feelings for her. As they entered Konoha, Yamato reminded Team Kakashi that it was time to leave. It was a beautiful day when the characters began their journey. Naruto and Sakura found themselves frequently glancing at Tien, while Sai wondered why they were so focused on her. Sai had a question he wanted to ask. He inquired about the attention Tien was receiving, but Naruto dismissed him, claiming it wasn't his concern. Sai insisted he wanted to gather information to develop his own personality. Tien found the situation awkward and suggested it was because Sai had been part of the Anbu, a mysterious organization. Sai acknowledged this but warned Naruto that if he continued to stare, he would retaliate. Naruto was confused by Sai's accusation and insisted he wasn't looking at him like that. Sakura pointed out that it was strange for Sai to say he needed to create a personality. Naruto expressed his frustration, stating they didn't need someone like Sai on the team, as he would always consider Sasuke Uchiha their fourth member. Sai, with a forced smile, responded that he understood Naruto's feelings, noting that Sasuke had betrayed the village by joining Orochimaru, and he was not like that. Naruto, feeling irritated, was about to confront Sai when Sakura intervened, reminding Naruto of the importance of cooperation. Yamato, hoping to maintain peace, warned them that if they continued to argue, he would confine them in a wooden cage until they reached the Tenchi Bridge. As they traveled, they eventually arrived at a place to spend the night, complete with hot springs, restaurants, and comfortable accommodations. Yamato invited everyone to the hot springs, but the girls were concerned about the mixed bathing. Sakura asked Tien if she was going to join, and Tien hesitated, feeling shy about the boys being there. Sakura assured her that she would accompany her and promised to handle Naruto if he acted up. Tien appreciated Sakura's support, while Naruto felt frustrated by the situation. As they settled into the hot springs, Yamato encouraged them to share their experiences. Sakura spoke about her training with Lady Tsunade, while Naruto mentioned his time with Jiraiya, all the while glancing at Tien with admiration. Sai chose to remain silent, preferring not to share. After a while, the teammates left, leaving Naruto and Tien alone. Naruto stood in front of Tien, causing her to blush. He expressed how much he had thought about her during his training and thanked her for everything. He finally confessed his feelings with a kiss. The kiss was unexpected for both, and they quickly pulled away, flustered. Tien was taken aback, while Naruto, embarrassed, ran off, unable to face her. Tien decided it was best to leave the hot springs as well, her heart racing from the moment they shared. When she returned to her room, Sakura bombarded her with questions, but Tien could only shake her head, not ready to discuss what had just happened. Yamato interrupted, asking everyone to come down for dinner. Tien agreed, still feeling the warmth of the kiss lingering in her thoughts. At dinner, Tien sat across from Sai, avoiding eye contact due to her blush. Yamato had prepared a feast for them, and everyone dug in. Naruto was particularly enthusiastic, while Sakura tried to relax. Sai showed little interest, and Tien only ate what appealed to her. Yamato kept a watchful eye on Sai, remembering Lady Tsunade's concerns about him. Yamato expressed his satisfaction, holding his stomach. He mentioned that he was glad to hear that and suggested everyone go to sleep, promising to share their plans in the morning. Naruto agreed, wishing Tien a good night while noticing her blush at his words. Sai chimed in with a good night as well, adding that he hoped Naruto would let him sleep. As Naruto settled down, he reflected on the kiss he had shared. It truly had made an impression on him. Tien was the one who had captivated him since childhood. He hoped they could be together someday, envisioning her as an excellent partner. He couldn't deny that he felt a bit crazy in love. Meanwhile, Sai observed the attention Naruto was giving Tien. He found himself curious about her and wondered why Naruto acted the way he did. It seemed like a mystery worth unraveling. As the raindrops fell. This is a different chapter, focusing on how you would look at 16 years old, which is the typical age when we see Naruto Shippuden. You would have gained incredible powers. If you were impressive as a child, imagine how much stronger you would be now, as Lee would say. If you chose the character with green hair, this is how you would look now. If you chose the second option, this is your new appearance. Honestly, I would be smitten with you. For those who picked the character with black hair and a white dress, this is how you would appear, but there are two options to choose from. If your character is the one with pink hair, this is how you would look. For those who preferred the character with white hair, This is your new appearance. Most of you chose this option. As always, you can change details like hair, eyes, scars, and freckles. Now for the guys. The classic handsome boy who always captivates with his looks could be the brother of the last girl, but he is still very attractive. Then there's Rapan, the sweet blonde. Your new summons include 3 elemental snakes, the ones you already know. A phoenix of fire. A guardian dog for all canine pets, named Zeus. You can also summon Pakun, but he already has an owner, Kakashi. Your abilities include Taijutsu, not as strong as Lee's but still impressive. Special jutsus in your element. The ability to bring drawings to life using ink and paper, similar to Sai's power. A more advanced medical jutsu than before. A Rasengan infused with your element, like Naruto did in Naruto Shippuden. Your eyes are more skilled. In this story, you are unaware of your family's past since your clan was extinguished, leaving only you. This clan possessed the ability of rapid vision, allowing them to see the opponent's chakra as key information about their jutsus and fighting style. It's an evolution of the Sharingan and Byakugan. You have new clothing options. You can stick with your previous outfit, or choose something new. Your Anbu mask is included because it's beautiful. As you train, you manage to control your demon, which is not truly a demon but rather a charismatic entity that grants you chakra and transforms you into another version of yourself. You can choose the color of your chakra, but be cautious. If you lose control, it may take over. You can control up to 5 tails. I hope you enjoy this chapter. I reached the maximum number of images, which is why I hesitated to continue with the first chapter of the second season. I want to include images from Naruto. There was once a version duck, and then Annalisa came along and checked its leg, leading to an unfortunate end. This is a tribute to the most heartbreaking moments in anime. I love you all. It was morning and the birds were singing. Sai, one of the classmates, started his day early. Meanwhile, Sakura and Naruto were still asleep, and Tien was taking a shower, while Yamato had finished and was getting dressed to be ready. Tien wondered what Sai was doing. She noticed him drawing in a notebook, looking serene and carefree, perfectly in tune with the surrounding landscape. She approached him to sit beside him and admire the view. She greeted Sai, who responded with a good morning and asked if she needed anything. Tien explained that she had come to admire his work and asked if he liked art. Sai confirmed that he had enjoyed it since he was a child. Tien then reached into her bag and pulled out a special ink, presenting it to him as a gift. She explained that it could create anything with just a touch and advised him to use it wisely. Sai was curious about where she had obtained such ink, and Tien shared that her sensei had given it to her as a gesture of friendship. This led to a conversation about whether Sai considered her a friend, to which she affirmed he was indeed her friend. She asked if he had named any of his drawings, to which he replied that he had never named any of his artwork, as he felt no emotions tied to them. Tien smiled, suggesting that this could change. Sai was puzzled by her statement. Just then, Naruto interrupted, expressing his disbelief that someone like Sai could have feelings. He greeted Tien and informed her that Captain Yamato wanted them to gather. Sakura joined in the greetings, and Tien responded warmly. Naruto, feeling competitive, teased Sai about his drawing, but Sai retorted with a jab at Naruto. Tien attempted to lighten the mood by picking up a notebook Sai had dropped, admiring his work and asking if she could see it on their way. Naruto, feeling jealous, turned away. Later, Yamato gathered the group, asking if they had integrated well. Sakura seemed nervous, while Tien expressed her fondness for Yamato, which Naruto dismissed, claiming he couldn't stand him. Yamato playfully threatened to use strict measures if necessary, and Naruto reassured him that they were in the process of forming a solid friendship. As they prepared to leave, Tien comforted Naruto, who was feeling flustered. Yamato then announced it was time to go. The group made their way to the Tenchi Bridge, where Yamato built a wooden shelter for them to sleep in. Before resting, he explained the plan. He would team up with Sakura, while Tien, Sai, and Naruto would work together. Naruto preferred to be with Tien rather than Sai, feeling uneasy about Sai being with her. After their discussion, Sakura, Naruto, and Yamato went to sleep, but Tien found herself unable to rest. She went to the top of the shelter to draw, not expecting to find Sai there. She commented on the beauty of the night sky, and Sai, surprised by her presence, asked how she had known he was there. Tien explained that she was also an Anbu. Sai expressed his surprise that she drew as well, and Tien remarked that one never stops learning about others. Sai asked if he could sit beside her, and she welcomed him, offering space to enjoy the starlit sky. As they shared the moment, Sai found himself admiring not just the stars but Tien as well, questioning his own thoughts. Tien then asked Sai why. He felt nothing, to which he explained that he had been trained to suppress emotions, as they were seen as weaknesses. Tien laughed, sharing her belief that emotions were essential for empathy, compassion, and connection in all aspects of life. She hoped he would rediscover the emotions he had buried. Sai felt a mix of confusion and warmth as he left, placing a hand on his heart, beginning to understand the meaning behind Tien's words. He realized his heart was racing, and thoughts of Tien flooded his mind. He wanted to uncover this new feeling and understand its significance, hoping to figure it out soon. My emojis always feature the monkey. I have a special fondness for it. I can imagine Reyes when she sees the boys who love her and want to be her boyfriend. Reyes giggles, excitedly announcing it's time to eat. Excuse me for interrupting, but where did you find my story? Besides Wattpad, I'm curious about your thoughts on it. A photo of Yamato to ensure he's not forgotten. In the shadows and the wind stood a striking character heading toward a particular destination with his own interests. The Akatsuki spy. The next day, Yamato's students watched as they prepared for the simulation. Yamato would signal to start the plan. Naruto wondered how much longer it would be until Yamato raised his hand for a moment of silence. Sakura declared she was ready. In a flashback, Yamato explained that he only knew what was in their files, which is why they would conduct a simulation the following morning. He wanted to see their skills so they could work as a team. Naruto, eager to work in a team, smiled widely, while Tien encouraged him to have fun. Naruto agreed, saying he would do whatever Tien wanted. After that conversation, where Tien had left Naruto feeling more flustered than usual, she approached the other team members. Tien looked at Yamato, who was tied up, and remarked on the situation. Yamato, unfazed by Sai's actions, concluded the simulation, causing the Tenchi bridge to disappear. Naruto, frustrated, questioned Sai about teamwork, while Sai simply wrote down the word, teamwork. Naruto insisted he was not talking about the word itself, and Sai pointed out that it was a mistake to reveal one's abilities too early. Naruto retorted, asking why Sai hadn't used his jutsu at that moment. Sai explained that it was challenging to fight when a teammate was losing control. He had analyzed the situation, made a decision, and acted accordingly. Frustrated, Naruto declared he would never consider Sai a teammate in Team Kakashi and walked away to clear his mind. Yamato began to suspect that this team might not work out. Sai wondered what Sasuke would do, believing he would have fought the enemy and covered for Naruto, as Naruto considered Sasuke a true teammate. Tien interrupted, advising Sai to remain silent during discussions when he lacked all the facts. She stated they would do everything necessary to find Sasuke, which meant working with him. Naruto agreed, acknowledging Tien was right. Yamato thought Tien was indispensable to the team and didn't know what they would do without her. After they decided to continue their mission, they arrived at the Tenchi Bridge, where they would encounter the Akatsuki spy. Yamato asked Tien to draw animals, just like Sai. Yamato inquired about the information they had gathered. Tien reported that there was no one around, indicating there was no trap. The bird she had created could scout the area and alert them if anyone approached. Sai nodded in agreement. Yamato found this beneficial for their preparations. Yamato transformed into Sasori's puppet and mimicked his voice with Sakura's help. After some time, they moved away from the area to observe Yamato's actions, and soon it was time. Tien quietly noted that someone was approaching. The air picked up intensity, and the spy appeared. Although they couldn't hear the conversation, Tien's summoned animal could pick up every detail, and she realized. The voice belonged to Kabuto. Naruto and Sai asked if something was wrong, and Tien confirmed it was indeed Kabuto. Kabuto remarked that it had been 5 years since he last saw them. Yamato asked if he had been followed, to which Kabuto replied they were alone. Yamato inquired about Kabuto's well-being, and Kabuto explained that since the jutsu had broken and he remembered who he was, he had been experiencing sporadic chills and headaches. Naruto groaned, realizing Kabuto was back. Sakura concluded that the spy was indeed Kabuto. Tien expressed concern, suggesting Kabuto might not be alone. She reminded them that he had always been with Orochimaru, who was involved with the Akatsuki, indicating they likely had another plan. Kabuto urged them to be brief, and Yamato demanded information about Sasuke's location. Kabuto explained that Orochimaru had many hideouts and they moved frequently to avoid detection, often staying in the Sound Village, but there were other nearby locations that made them hard to find. Currently, Kabuto revealed Sasuke was on a small island to the north and would be leaving in 3 days. He also mentioned they needed to discuss what Sasori had tasked him with. Tien sensed trouble approaching and warned the others. Sakura asked what was happening, and Naruto wanted to know who it was. Tien identified it as Orochimaru. Yamato realized he needed to act quickly, as the conversation could lead to their discovery. Kabuto continued discussing Orochimaru's protective jutsu on discarded specimens, but Yamato was focused on the urgency of the situation. Naruto urged Kabuto to act quickly, while Sakura reminded him that it was Kabuto they were dealing with. They needed to analyze the situation calmly, as Tien suggested, Orochimaru might be nearby. Tien agreed, urging everyone to wait a little longer. Sai expressed his frustration, noting that their plan was falling apart. If they took too long, it would raise suspicions, and if Orochimaru was indeed present, it would complicate matters further. Sakura reminded them to have patience and trust Yamato's judgment. Kabuto had waited long enough and demanded what he requested, extending his hand calmly. He knew that if Orochimaru discovered he was speaking with them, it could cost him his life. Yamato understood the gravity of the situation, realizing he needed to act quickly. Orochimaru found their conversation intriguing and decided to join in on the fun. Yamato was startled to see Orochimaru standing behind Kabuto, his gaze challenging. Tien sensed the impending confrontation, while Naruto felt a wave of fear at Orochimaru's return. Kabuto acknowledged Sasori, noting that if he hadn't drawn his kunai, he would have been in grave danger. Yamato, feeling the pressure of Orochimaru's presence, confronted him, questioning his audacity to follow Kabuto. Orochimaru merely wanted to thank Yamato in person, as he had sent the boy who turned out to be quite the prodigy. Yamato felt trapped in a difficult situation. At that moment, Kabuto infused chakra into his hand, transforming it into a kunai and tearing away Yamato's disguise. Yamato quickly assessed the chaos around him. Orochimaru unleashed a flurry of serpents, and Tien, seeing the swarm heading toward Yamato, teleported him to safety in front of them. Orochimaru recognized Tien, liking his lips in anticipation. Kabuto gazed at Tien with newfound admiration, noting how much she had changed. Tien remarked that she felt the same about them and hoped they were well after all those years of sacrifice. The hidden group, consisting of Sai, Naruto, and Sakura, emerged to support their allies. Orochimaru welcomed Tien, curious about how much she had matured. He noted that she seemed to have brought the boy with 9 tails and the demon along, suggesting they have some fun together. Kabuto felt an undeniable attraction to Tien, realizing something about her drew him in. Naruto's anger was evident in his eyes as the chakra of the 9-tailed fox began to surge, exciting Orochimaru while causing Yamato to panic. Yamato recognized the chakra and knew he had to contain it. Sakura felt the weight of the chakra and wondered what it was. Tien urged Naruto to calm down, warning him that he was no longer himself and that he would soon unleash more tails. A powerful gust of wind swept through, threatening to destroy the Tenchi Bridge. Sakura fainted from the impact of Naruto's transformation. As she fell, Sai used chakra to transform into a bird and took flight, intending to save her. However, he missed her, causing Yamato to become anxious. Tien quickly summoned a giant scroll to assist in lifting Sakura to safety. Tien hoped her plan would work. She pressed on Sakura's wound, hastening her recovery and awakening her. Sakura expressed her relief and gratitude, feeling a rush of warmth toward Tien, who was worried about her. Tien asked if she was feeling better, to which Sakura confirmed and urged her to help Naruto. Sakura nodded and rushed to the battlefield, but it was too late. Naruto had already transformed into a mini fox with 4 tails. Yamato and Sai watched the fight unfold. Tien intervened, placing a hand on Naruto's head and guiding him into the subconscious realm of the fox. Tien acknowledged the fox's presence, surprised that someone like her could be there. The fox questioned her presence, but Tien assured it was exactly as it should be. Naruto, confused, asked how she was there, but Tien insisted that it didn't matter. She urged him not to draw on the fox's power for now. Naruto, feeling remorseful, sought her forgiveness. Tien gently wiped away his tears, assuring him that she was there for him. The fox interrupted, dismissing their sentimentality and warning Tien not to hinder its power, revealing that she was important to him and that her mother had played a role in its imprisonment. Tien was taken aback by the mention of her mother but decided to focus on the present. She placed her hand over Naruto's heart, causing him to blush as she drew chakra from him to prevent his transformation. Back in the real world, Tien absorbed the fox's chakra, gradually weakening it. Despite the struggle, Naruto fainted from the overwhelming force. Orochimaru relished the moment, eager to see what Tien could do now that they were alone. Chapter End. Orochimaru asked if he would teach everything about himself. The Sannin unleashed a multitude of explosive snakes. Surrounded by them, the girl split them in 2 with the sword he had gifted her. In an instant she was behind him, pushing him with such force that the ground trembled. Alone, she took Naruto and brought him to Sakura for medical assistance. Sakura expressed her concern for her friend, asking if she was all right. The girl reassured her, insisting that Sakura should take care of Naruto while she went to retrieve something important. Despite Sakura's worry, the girl departed, confident in her abilities. Orochimaru detached himself from his body like a real serpent, possessing the same skills and agility. He returned to the battle where the young girl stood. She taunted him, questioning if he was too old to move and expressing her disappointment. With a swift motion she charged at Orochimaru, her eyes glowing red. In a flash, she was in the air, attacking him with her element, creating blades infused with wind that struck him directly. One of the blades pierced him. Orochimaru retaliated by summoning 2 giant dragons to attack her. However, he was not easily defeated, as snakes emerged from his hands, vanishing the dragons. Yet, the ink continued to take the shape of the dragons, repeating the pattern to counter his snakes. He lamented that such potential as hers had taken a different path, claiming it would be a waste of her abilities. He revealed his knowledge of her clan, her powers, and her family, which left her momentarily stunned. The girl felt a surge of anger, manifesting in her clenched fist as her chakra began to rise. Orochimaru noted that she possessed more potential than she realized, questioning why she housed a powerful Shinchuriki within her. He spoke of her parents, the rulers who had been killed for being part of the most feared clan. The girl shouted for him to be quiet, refusing to accept his words. As her chakra transformed into a more dangerous color, she attacked Orochimaru at his weak points, transferring her chakra to him. Orochimaru struggled to control the power, leading him to shed his body once more, creating another copy. He laughed maniacally, expressing his excitement at the presence of such power. The girl sensed something emerging from within her and quickly understood that it was not wise to unleash it. She tried to contain herself, but Orochimaru launched her from over 5 kilometers away, causing her to lose her composure. Yamato, observing the chaos, felt compelled to act. He decided to dispel the jutsu while Sai prepared to seize his opportunity. The pale boy approached Orochimaru, ready to fulfill the mission he had been given since joining Team Kakashi. Orochimaru inquired about Sai's identity, and Sai mentioned he had a message from Danzo. Orochimaru, intrigued, asked what the message entailed. However, before Sai could reveal it, Kabuto intervened, pushing him and causing his belongings to scatter. Kabuto questioned Orochimaru's trust in Sai, recalling how many had betrayed them since the girl had refused their offer. Sai insisted that the contents of the letter might convince them, as it was sent by Danzo. Orochimaru picked up the letter, intrigued, and upon reading it he smiled, realizing Sai would become a valuable ally. After this encounter, the girl awoke beside Sakura, who was in tears, desperate for her friend's survival. Sakura pleaded for her to stay alive, while the girl reassured her that she was fine. Naruto rushed to embrace her, expressing how much he had missed her and asking what had happened. She mentioned her ankle hurt, but Naruto urged her not to push herself, promising to be there for her. Sakura chimed in, reminding Naruto that she was there too. Orochimaru found the situation intriguing but demanded a reason to believe Sai. As Sai prepared to show him something from his bag, Kabuto interrupted, preventing him from doing so. Yamato sensed trouble and insisted they head to where the girl had fought Orochimaru. Naruto offered to help her, suggesting she ride on his back, while Sakura volunteered to assist as well. Yamato instructed the girl to ride on Naruto, allowing Sakura to recover. Upon arriving at the battle site, they found Sai's belongings scattered. Yamato reported that his clone had discovered Sai had gone with Orochimaru. Naruto was shocked, nearly losing his balance but quickly regaining it. The girl felt unwell, almost nauseous. Yamato recalled that Tsunade had warned him to keep an eye on Sai, as Danzo, who aspired to be Hokage, had recommended him for some reason. Sakura discovered a notebook left behind by Sai, questioning why he had deemed it special. Yamato speculated that fear might have prevented Sai from collecting his things, given the intimidating presence of Orochimaru. Naruto struggled to understand how Sai could have aligned himself with Orochimaru, while the girl echoed Yamato's thoughts. Taking a deep breath, Tien considered the mission from Danzo. Tsunade might be cautious since they were facing Orochimaru, who had attempted to destroy the village 3 years ago. Danzo might want to assist Orochimaru in that endeavor to seize the title of Hokage. Yamato acknowledged the truth of the situation and suggested they leave, noting that a wooden clone was following them, so they needed to head toward it. The group made their way into the forest, with Tien resting on Naruto's back, who was struggling to stay awake. Sakura watched them carry the girl while Yamato contemplated their strategy. They paused for a break when Naruto could no longer continue. Naruto apologized to Tien, expressing his exhaustion. Tien reassured him that she would heal herself. Yamato suggested that he and Naruto have a conversation while leaving Sakura and Tien behind, wanting to share something important. Naruto agreed, albeit hesitantly. Sakura offered to help Tien by applying a medical jutsu on her ankle while they were alone. Tien asked why Sakura was helping her, to which Sakura replied that Tien was her companion. Tien teased Sakura about her stuttering, which made Sakura blush and say she thought Tien was lovely. Sakura then decided to read Sai's book while Tien continued to apply the jutsu. Once Yamato returned, he checked on Tien, who felt better and thanked him for his concern. Naruto lamented that he could no longer carry Tien on his back, wishing he could continue doing so. Sakura excitedly showed them a drawing book, which depicted a story with 2 characters that appeared to be enemies. Tien speculated that they might represent foes they had fought. Sakura noted the eerie aspect of the figures lacking faces. Yamato reminded them that they needed to leave, as his clone had reported that Orochimaru, Sai, and Kabuto were nearby. The team proceeded to their destination, each displaying different emotions. Sakura and Naruto felt nervous, while Tien and Yamato remained calm. Upon arriving, they found a dark, isolated area that felt lonely, with only the flickering of candles breaking the silence. They followed Sai's trail using a tracker and eventually located him. Naruto confronted Sai, demanding to know why he had betrayed his comrades. Sai warned him to keep quiet, as things could turn ugly. Naruto threatened him, but Sakura intervened with a calm demeanor. Tien laughed lightly at the situation. Sakura handed Sai his notebook, confirming it belonged to him. Sai thanked her, and she explained that he was under Danzo's orders. They knew that Orochimaru and Danzo were working together on something significant. Sakura pressed Sai for information about their plans. Yamato pointed out that they were aware of Orochimaru's intentions to destroy the village. Sai looked up and smiled, denying that was the case. He admitted that they had found his location, and for the first time, his mission had failed. He acknowledged that even if they fought, he could not defeat them. He revealed that the plan was indeed to destroy the Leaf Village, aiming to form an alliance with Orochimaru and orchestrate a conspiracy to achieve that goal, while also learning Orochimaru's weaknesses and potentially becoming a double agent. Tien found the situation intriguing, noting that there was always a chance Orochimaru would betray the plan, which was why they had taken precautions from the start. Sai agreed with a nod. Sakura expressed concern that if the village fell, many innocent lives would be lost. Sai revealed that his real name was not Sai and that he was merely a tool for Danzo, stating that he did not truly exist, so nothing mattered to him. Tien countered that he still had emotions, pointing out that when Sakura had given him the notebook, his body language showed he had feelings. Sai considered this and admitted it might be true. Yamato insisted it was time to leave, as staying could lead to Kabuto discovering them. Ultimately, Sai had no choice but to join his companions. Yamato suggested they separate to find their target, and they first captured Kabuto, leading to an intriguing conversation where Sai decided to abandon his mission to follow his companions, wanting to understand the connection between Naruto, Tien, and Sasuke. Sai teamed up with Tien and Naruto, while Sakura and Yamato formed another group. They searched desperately for Sasuke, finding empty rooms with a few beds, desks, and bathrooms. Tien used a jutsu to create large clothing items to assist in their search, but unfortunately, Naruto could go no further due to exhaustion and collapsed. Tien helped Naruto to the ground, asking if he was all right. He insisted they should continue, but Tien insisted they needed to rest, reminding him they were not the only ones searching for Sasuke. Naruto reluctantly agreed and settled down next to Tien and Sai before losing consciousness. Sai reflected on how Naruto reminded him of his older brother, who had been loud and impatient, and he realized the importance of giving everything he had. Tien asked Sai about his unfinished notebook, wondering if it was related to his brother. Sai's expression changed as he recalled a fragment of his brother. Tien encouraged him to finish it, and Sai began to draw. Tien was delighted that he was remembering, and for the first time, Sai smiled genuinely. Tien complimented his talent, and Sai acknowledged that she was the one who helped him remember. Suddenly, Orochimaru appeared, attacking his enemies and causing destruction. Naruto instinctively created shadow clones, while Yamato and Sakura rushed toward the commotion. Sai had to leave to assist his teammates, allowing them to continue their search. Meanwhile, Yamato and Sakura rejoined Naruto and Tien, with Sakura checking on Tien's well-being, to which Tien replied she was fine. Naruto felt left out, and Yamato inquired about Sai's whereabouts, learning he had separated due to Orochimaru's arrival. Tien reassured them that Sai would be okay. The drawing was complete. Tien smiled, a genuine smile that lit up the room. Yamato noticed something unusual and picked up a notebook. It contained a list of Anbu members assigned to eliminate Sai's team, essentially a bingo book. However, Tien had changed. Yamato acknowledged this possibility. Naruto felt it was pointless to remain idle and insisted they move on. Yamato agreed. As they turned around, a loud explosion shook the area, causing chaos and destruction. Sakura rushed forward, alarmed to see Sai on the ground. She grabbed him with frustration, demanding to know what he was up to. A familiar voice called out to her, causing her to release Sai in surprise. Naruto, filled with urgency, stumbled as he ran but quickly got back on his feet. Tien, however, walked calmly beside Yamato, whistling a favorite tune. The voice continued, acknowledging Naruto's presence. Tien appeared gracefully, drawing attention with each step. The voice recognized Tien, noting how they had changed yet remained the same. It was assumed that Kakashi was also present. Yamato explained that Kakashi was not there and that he had come to replace him, while Team Kakashi was on a mission to bring Tien back to the Hidden Leaf Village. Sasuke, drawing his sword, expressed disbelief that Sai was his replacement. Sakura warned Sai not to act rashly. Sasuke had thought one mediocre teammate was enough, and he had been told to protect the bond between Tien and himself, just like Naruto. Sai admitted he had followed orders but would now think for himself. He acknowledged Tien for helping him remember his lost feelings and what had once been important to him. He knew little about Sasuke, but he understood that Tien, Sakura, and Naruto had risked much for him and were determined to maintain their connection, willing to do anything to protect those bonds. He urged Sasuke to understand this. Sasuke reflected on his past, admitting he had once held a bond but had broken it. Sakura placed a hand on her chest, feeling the weight of his words. Sasuke then revealed that he now had a new bond, one of hatred with his brother. Naruto stood frozen, unable to comprehend his teammates' words. He never expected that someone who had risked everything would feel this way. Sasuke believed that having many connections in this world was merely a burden, a sign of weakness that distracted from what truly mattered. Naruto reflected on Sasuke's feelings, realizing how deeply they affected him. Tien thought Sasuke was vital to their team and their lives. Sasuke explained that he wasn't trying to sever their bond, he was simply following the same path as his brother. It was all part of a strategy to gain power. Naruto questioned how he could ever become Hokage if he couldn't even save a friend. Sasuke coldly stated that leaving Naruto alive that day had been a mere whim. In that moment, Sasuke approached Naruto like a gust of wind, placing a hand on his shoulder, surprising Yamato and Sakura. Tien watched in slow motion, unfazed by the sudden closeness. Sasuke then reminded Naruto of his dream to become Hokage, suggesting that all the time spent following him should have been used for training. This time, however, he felt compelled to finish what he had started. Naruto felt despair, questioning how he could achieve his dream if he couldn't even save his friend. Sasuke, with a calm demeanor, prepared to strike Naruto with his katana, intending to complete what he had once attempted. But Tien acted swiftly, stopping the blade with agility. Their eyes met, filled with memories and unspoken feelings. Sasuke acknowledged Tien's skill in blocking his attack. Naruto, in a moment of instinct, leaped above Sasuke, his mind blank. Yamato declared it was time to act, using his wood style to restrain the dark-haired boy. Sasuke unleashed his Chidori, creating an explosion of energy. Sai, Naruto, and Yamato managed to escape the area, while Tien absorbed Sasuke's chakra. Confused, Sasuke watched Tien's actions, while Sakura contemplated intervening, knowing it could cost her life. She rushed forward, but Yamato blocked her path, forcing Sasuke to channel his electric chakra into his katana. Tien assisted Yamato, stopping Sasuke's hand with grace. Sasuke expressed his desire to see what Tien could do, looking at her with determination. Kabuto observed the unfolding events, noting that things were becoming interesting as Yamato's clone vanished. The Nine-Tails spoke to Naruto, urging him to embrace its power. It questioned why he hesitated, suggesting that he needed its strength. Naruto vehemently rejected the offer, insisting he did not want the tainted power. The Nine-Tails taunted him, reminding him of his past pleas for help and how he would achieve nothing without it. Tien intervened, telling the Nine-Tails not to force Naruto if he didn't want its power. Naruto was taken aback by her words. The Nine-Tails acknowledged Tien's abilities, recognizing her clan and expressing surprise at her presence. Sasuke, observing the exchange, noted the immense power surrounding them, intrigued by Tien's hidden strength. The Nine-Tails remarked on Sasuke's progress, recognizing him as the host of the Nine-Tails. Sasuke dismissed the Nine-Tails, showing no interest in its words. The Nine-Tails warned him not to harm Naruto, suggesting that doing so would lead to regret, as Tien was a formidable opponent. After this exchange, Sasuke returned to reality, contemplating his next move. Yamato quickly removed the katana from his chest, using his wood style to create a protective barrier around Sasuke. However, Sasuke managed to break free, rejoining his former team. Naruto thought about Sasuke, feeling the weight of the situation. He urged Sasuke to understand that Orochimaru only wanted to use him. Sasuke, unfazed, insisted that his vengeance was all that mattered, dismissing Naruto's concerns. Tien confronted Sasuke, pointing out that his obsession with killing his brother would lead to emptiness. Yamato intervened, stating that he had refrained from taking drastic measures out of consideration for Naruto and Sakura, but could no longer hold back. Naruto questioned Yamato's intentions, to which Yamato replied that they could not allow Sasuke to roam free, as he posed a danger. Sasuke, frustrated with the village, declared he was done with it, preparing to unleash his jutsu. Orochimaru interrupted, advising him to be cautious. Kabuto warned Sasuke to watch his tone with Orochimaru, while Sasuke demanded a reason not to act. Kabuto reminded him that the Akatsuki had already begun their plans, and if they intervened, Sasuke's chance for revenge could slip away. Sasuke considered Kabuto's words, glancing at his former teammates and Tien. Orochimaru suggested they make a pact, and as Tien and Sasuke exchanged glances, silence enveloped them before they vanished in a burst of flames. Naruto felt a wave of sadness wash over him, realizing he had failed to stop Sasuke once again. Naruto felt weak, but he was determined to lift his head. They needed to be strong after all. Sai pointed out that they still had half a year to complete their mission, and 4 were better than 3, so he would join them with a smile. Naruto expressed his gratitude, and Yamato announced that the fight was about to begin. In the Hidden Leaf Village, a brilliant flash of light illuminated the beautiful, sunny town where birds sang. Yet, within the hearts of the celebrated ninjas, sadness lingered. Tsunade lowered her gaze, acknowledging the weight of the situation. Naruto declared that they would not give up, and Sakura affirmed his resolve. Tsunade instructed everyone to stay in their homes while she sought a mission for them. She then asked Tien to remain, as she needed to speak with her. Tien felt a wave of concern wash over her as everyone left, leaving her alone with Tsunade. She inquired if something was wrong. Tsunade explained that the Sand Village had made a request for her assistance in their reconstruction efforts. Tien was surprised but curious about what Tsunade had expected. Tsunade confirmed that she had already agreed to send Tien and wanted her to prepare her belongings for the journey the next day. Tien sighed, feeling fatigued, wishing she had been informed sooner, as she had hoped to rest. Tsunade reminded her that as an Anbu, she was expected to take on such responsibilities, especially since the request specifically mentioned her. Tien decided to take a break and thanked Tsunade for her trust. Meanwhile, Gaara wondered what Tien was doing and if she had received the invitation. Kankuro excitedly announced that they had received a response from the Hokage. The message stated that Tien would be on her way to the Sand Village as requested, prompting Gaara to agree that they should prepare for her arrival. Temari teased that her little brother would soon have a girlfriend, imagining how wonderful that would be. As night fell, a wave of colors washed over the sky, and the stars began to twinkle. However, one person was lost in thought, feeling an unusual flutter in his heart. Sasuke reflected on Tien, noting how different she seemed now. He was puzzled by the feelings she stirred within him, feelings that were unlike anything he had experienced before. He hoped to see her again, realizing that no one else could evoke such emotions in him. It was a normal day in the village of Konoha. Naruto, one of the main characters, woke up from a romantic dream involving Tien. Meanwhile, Sai was in the library reading about communication between people. At that moment, he ran into Sakura and told her about visiting their beloved Kakashi, who was in the hospital. As they made their way there, Tien encountered Naruto. Naruto wondered why he had that dream. Tien greeted him and asked how his rest had been. Naruto, feeling shy, replied that it had been fine while looking away. Tien noticed something was off and asked him directly. After some hesitation, Naruto confessed that he had dreamt about her, avoiding her gaze due to his embarrassment. Tien blushed and asked what the dream was about, but Naruto hesitated to share, feeling shy again. Tien reassured him that it was okay to tell her. Just then, Sakura arrived, and Naruto felt a surge of irritation at Sai for being near Tien, fearing he might take her away. Sakura explained that she had run into Sai at the library. Naruto lamented that he wanted some time alone with Tien, while Sakura suggested he should focus on studying ninjutsu instead. She pointed out that exercising the mind was just as important as exercising the body, calling Naruto a bit foolish for not understanding that. Tien defended Naruto, saying he simply didn't enjoy reading. Sai, eager to join the conversation, mentioned that he had read a book suggesting that using first names or affectionate nicknames could foster friendship. Naruto laughed at Sai's unexpected insight, while Tien smiled at his effort. Sakura was surprised to learn that Sai cared so much about friendship. Tien encouraged Sai to be himself, and Sakura suggested that nicknames could reflect personality traits. She jokingly suggested some for Naruto, which made him protest. When Sakura asked Sai for a nickname for Tien, he pondered and called her Sisi, which led to a humorous exchange as Sakura reacted dramatically. Naruto tried to calm Sakura down, while Tien found the situation amusing. Later, Kakashi introduced himself to Sai, acknowledging him as the new team member. He noticed that Naruto and Sakura looked injured and asked if they had been in a fight. Tien explained that Sakura had reacted to Sai calling her ugly, but assured Kakashi that they got along well. Kakashi, aware of the situation, listened as Naruto expressed his concerns about their mission and the urgency of rescuing Sasuke, who had become much stronger. Sakura added that she had spoken to Lady Tsunade, who suspected Sasuke was using a forbidden jutsu, and reminded them that Kabuto was with him. Kakashi emphasized the need for them to improve as well. Tien encouraged Sakura, insisting that they could overcome any challenges with perseverance. Kakashi agreed, suggesting that Naruto's unique abilities could surpass even his own. Just then, Tsunade entered, asking to speak with Tien. Tien felt nervous, hoping Tsunade wouldn't assign her something difficult. Tsunade informed Tien that she needed to go to the Sand Village for a mission, and after a few days, she would return to find Sasuke. Tien asked about her belongings, and Tsunade pointed them out. Tien wanted to say goodbye to her friends before leaving. She gathered everyone and explained her mission. Naruto expressed his desire for her to stay, but quickly corrected himself, feeling embarrassed. Tien reassured him that she would return and wanted to see how strong he had become. She hugged Sai, who felt a flutter of emotions, and then hugged Sakura, who happily reciprocated. Tien reminded them to take care of each other. As Tien prepared to leave, she shared a heartfelt farewell with Kakashi, giving him a gentle kiss on the head. Kakashi, with a playful thought, wished her well. Tien then disappeared using a jutsu, only to find herself at the entrance of the village, where she was met with a surprising sight. A crowd of admirers awaited her, holding signs, flowers, and chocolates, celebrating her presence. Tien was taken aback and exclaimed in surprise, while Tsunade explained that they were her admirers. Tien felt a mix of excitement and fear at the unexpected attention. With chakra gathered in her fist due to her frustration, Tien looked around nervously. A boy of average height, wearing glasses and a bit chubby, was thrilled to see the illustrious Tien stepping out of Konoha. He and his fellow disciples raised their notebooks, eager for her autograph. Tien smiled at them, causing the crowd to erupt with excitement. She decided it would be best to sign with a special ink, pulling out a bottle and brush. It would be something interesting and unique. The crowd cheered in gratitude, expressing their admiration and excitement for the moment they had long awaited. Tien felt a wave of affection for everyone present. As it was time to leave, she bid farewell to the crowd with great joy, grateful for the memorable experience they had created together. It had been 5 years since love blossomed between the two main characters. They often expressed their affection for each other and the world around them, proclaiming that their love would never break and would always remain intact. One night marked the beginning of a spectacular moment where their desires and needs would finally be revealed. Tsunade looked at Tien with joy and said that she had become a beautiful woman. Tien, feeling shy, looked away and downplayed the compliment. Tsunade then asked if Tien was going out with Naruto, reminding her that it was a special day for both of them and to make the most of it. Tien sighed, feeling the weight of being 21 and still being treated like a child. Tsunade encouraged her to look in the mirror, suggesting a dress that Tien could change if she preferred. Tsunade expressed her belief that Tien was like a daughter to her, someone who spent time with her, often got upset, and occasionally shed tears. She conveyed her deep affection and hoped that Tien would remain in her life for a long time. Tien felt emotional, wiping away a tear that threatened to fall. Tsunade urged her to hurry as it was time to go. Tsunade led Tien to the venue where they would celebrate the hard work of their comrades who had risked their lives. Tien had brought joy to many hearts and had stood strong against adversity. The night was beautiful, with stars illuminating the path, and the forest held an air of mystery. Naruto felt that today was the most important day of his life. He wanted Tien to be his beloved wife, the one who healed his soul, and he hoped she would reciprocate his feelings. Shikamaru noticed Naruto's nervousness and asked if he was okay. Naruto admitted he was anxious about confessing his feelings. Shikamaru advised him to be mindful of Tien's feelings and not to be disheartened if she didn't feel the same, reminding him that there were many other women out there. Naruto insisted that Tien was different and special, gazing at the stars with a heart full of love. As Choji arrived, Shikamaru told Naruto to go to Tien, as she had just arrived. Naruto approached Tien, who was speaking with Tsunade. Despite his nerves, he walked up to her like a prince, seeking to fill her heart with love. He complimented her beauty, and Tien blushed in response. Tsunade, sensing the romance, decided to leave them to enjoy their time together. Naruto took Tien's hand, causing her to blush even more, and asked if she wanted to get a drink. They walked together to the bar, drawing envious glances from others. As they waited for their drinks, they exchanged glances, feeling a connection that required no words. When the bartenders served their drinks, Naruto thought about keeping things simple, not wanting to be tipsy when he confessed his feelings. He presented Tien with a pearl necklace, hoping she would like it. Tien was thrilled and hugged him tightly, expressing her gratitude. They shared a moment of closeness, and as Naruto gently placed the necklace around her neck, he was captivated by her sweet scent. He asked her what love meant to her, and she pondered the question thoughtfully. Naruto shared his belief that love was about giving everything for the one you cherish. Tien found his answer sweet and laughed. Naruto then suggested they find a more private place, and Tien agreed. He led her into the woods, where he had planned a surprise that would define their future. Tien admired the beauty of the surroundings and asked if he wanted to say something. Gathering his courage, Naruto confessed his love for her, expressing that he wanted to be there for her. He had been infatuated with her since the first day they met and now wished to spend eternity together. He gently held her cheek, smiled, and leaned in to kiss her. The kiss was tender and filled with longing, lasting for a minute as they shared a deep connection. After breaking the kiss, Naruto, slightly breathless, asked if she would be his beloved, his queen. Tien joyfully agreed, and they embraced, solidifying their bond as a true couple, a love that would never break and would continue to grow. The boy vowed to love her with all his being, his soul, his thoughts, and his body. If he ever did something inappropriate, he would apologize. If he wanted something, he knew who to count on. If he wanted love, she was there. Such a beautiful thing would never be forgotten, and that was true art. The astronaut found what he desired, a star that shone brightly. Weeks, months, and years passed since the two most beloved couples became a pair. Every day, they received gifts from all around, and a few admirers of Tien had their hearts broken, but they understood that not everything in life would go as one wished. On that beautiful morning, the sky smiled broadly, touching every door, while someone prepared breakfast for the lovely Tien. The aroma in the house was so delightful that it could awaken anyone. Naruto gently nudged Tien, who was sleeping soundly with her straw-colored hair. He called her name, encouraging her to wake up. He kissed her forehead affectionately and said it was time to rise. Tien groaned, wanting to sleep a little longer, but Naruto playfully declared that he would eat breakfast alone if she didn't join him. Tien, with a sad expression, protested, and Naruto teasingly uncovered her. Startled, Tien asked him to put on a shirt, covering herself with the blanket out of shyness. Naruto laughed, saying he hoped she wouldn't forget what they had done the day before. Tien blushed, recalling the previous day, and Naruto warned her that he would eat breakfast without her if she didn't hurry. In a rush, Tien ran to the blonde and playfully covered him with the blanket to buy time and enjoy the breakfast prepared by her future husband. Upon entering the dining area, she marveled at the beautiful spread he had prepared. Naruto smiled and said he hoped she liked it, apologizing if it didn't taste good, as he was still learning. Tien expressed her love for him, and they began to eat joyfully, their happiness together unshakable. After breakfast, Naruto planned to surprise her with something special. He asked Tien to accompany him, assuring her they had plenty of time to relax, especially since she might have been tired from their last mission. Tien agreed, saying she wasn't tired as long as she was with him. Naruto playfully declared that she was the best girlfriend and that he was lucky to have chosen her. Tien joyfully climbed onto him, and he warned her that if she kept that up, he might not be able to resist. With excitement, he lifted her and took her to his room, where they would play some fun games to pass the time. Later, Naruto told her he would take a shower to prepare for her gift. Tien, feeling a bit melancholic, held his hand and asked him to wait. He reassured her that he would show her the gift soon and asked her to be patient. Their days together were filled with fun, support during missions, and emotional bonding. Finally, it was time to reveal the surprise. Tien eagerly anticipated what it could be. Naruto told her not to be anxious and blindfolded her gently with a piece of cloth. Tien complained that she couldn't see and asked for help, but Naruto assured her he wouldn't let go and held her waist as they walked together. With nervous excitement, Naruto led her to a beautiful location illuminated by the moonlight, surrounded by enchanting wildlife and fireflies. Once they arrived, he uncovered her eyes with a smile and knelt down, presenting her with a wedding ring. Tien was overwhelmed by the beauty of the place and thanked him for bringing her there. Naruto asked if she would marry him. Tears of joy filled her eyes as she embraced him, showering him with kisses on his face. She exclaimed her acceptance, expressing her deep love for him and her desire to spend her life by his side. Naruto thanked her for loving him and for being there, promising to protect and cherish her. He urged her not to cry. Tien, overwhelmed with emotion, said she was just excited. Naruto, holding her waist, kissed her passionately, and they shared a moment of laughter, knowing their destinies were intertwined and they would never be apart. 13 years later, they continued to pursue their dreams, love, and happiness. Naruto had become Hokage, while Tien served as the Shadow Hokage, protecting the village with her life. Their unbreakable love remained strong. Naruto apologized for being late again, but Tien reassured him that she understood how work could be. She kissed him on the cheek, and he professed his love for her with a kiss on the lips. Tien asked if he was hungry, and he playfully replied that he was hungry for her, pulling her close against the wall and suggesting they shower together. Tien blushed, reminding him they could take their time. Naruto was eager and quickly led her to the bathroom, excited to be with her. The next morning, Naruto wanted to do something special to thank her for always being there and to express his love. He called for her to wake up, waiting in the kitchen. Tien asked for a little more time to rest, but he warned her that breakfast would get cold. Finally, she got up and Naruto joyfully ran ahead, leaving her alone for a moment. Tien changed with a sense of laziness, but being with her husband always brightened her mood. When she arrived in the kitchen, Naruto expressed his happiness that she was awake. He joked about not changing clothes and asked her when she wanted to have children. Tien playfully suggested right then, and Naruto enthusiastically agreed. The couple that everyone admired built a happy family together, their love never fading. They lived a life filled with joy and without worries. Naruto declared his love for Tien, reaffirming their bond. Sasuke and the protagonist shared a love that was calculated and cold. As winter approached, illnesses began to emerge due to the cold, and everyone needed to stay warm. For the more refined ninjas, it was not a time for rest. Tsunade knew that the protagonist was the only one who could bring Sasuke back, but she had risked losing her eye in the process. The protagonist reassured Tsunade that she was fine, touching her eye with a hint of melancholy. Tsunade warned her that if she continued down this path, they might lose a Hokage with great potential. The protagonist acknowledged that Naruto had already earned the title of Hokage and vowed to do everything possible to bring Sasuke back. The beautiful girl retreated to her favorite spot, determined to make the most of the winter. She felt inadequate, and her life had changed since meeting Sasuke. Something between them had begun to blossom. Overwhelmed with emotion, she expressed her frustration, feeling lost and obsessed. Tears streamed down her face as the snowflakes fell gracefully around her, highlighting her despair. In a flashback, Sasuke confronted her with agitation, questioning why she wanted him to return. The protagonist expressed her anger at his indifference, reminding him of the sacrifices others made for him. She warned him that his emptiness would consume him if he continued on this path. Sasuke, taken aback by her words, was surprised to hear her concern. She admitted that he was the one who bound her, making her feel suffocated every day. Sasuke advised her to avoid the emotions that tormented her, revealing that he thought he had moved past his feelings but only made the situation worse. The cursed mark on his body began to manifest, a sign of his desperation. Despite their differences, they both understood they were still connected. After a moment of reflection, Sasuke realized he had just killed Itachi and regretted not listening to the protagonist. He felt a deep sorrow and wished for death, apologizing to her in his thoughts. Collapsing into the cold snow, he felt the need to rest. As he struggled to rise, a young boy approached him, greeting him cheerfully. Sasuke, weary, told the boy to leave, but the boy, Yoshio, insisted on talking. He expressed concern for Sasuke's well-being and suggested he should find someone who cared for him. Sasuke, feeling lost, admitted he no longer had love in his life. Yoshio shared his own experience with his sister, who, despite their arguments, loved him through her actions. This made Sasuke ponder the possibility that someone might still be waiting for him. Determined to visit someone important, Sasuke made his way to the protagonist's home, where a surprise awaited him. He admired her unchanged, lovely house. Meanwhile, the protagonist, exhausted from training, contemplated what to have for dinner when she sensed a familiar chakra. Startled, she drew her sword, ready to defend herself. Sasuke revealed himself, holding a photo of them together, feeling shy. The protagonist was overwhelmed with emotion, expressing how much she missed him and quickly apologizing for her reaction. Sasuke explained he had come without a clear reason, and she suggested he stay for the night. As she went to bathe, Sasuke wrestled with his feelings, unsure of why he felt so drawn to her. When the protagonist emerged, she found Sasuke on her bed, deep in thought. She invited him to dinner and offered him some of her clothes to change into. As they sat down to eat, Sasuke requested that she keep their reunion a secret from Sakura and Naruto. The protagonist had questions, wondering if he would return to his former life. Sasuke admitted he hadn't thought much about it but would analyze the situation further. The atmosphere shifted as the protagonist pressed him about staying the night. Sasuke, feeling a mix of annoyance and determination, stood up, suggesting he could leave if she wanted. But the protagonist insisted he stay, leading to a moment of tension between them. Sasuke retreated to her room, and she, frustrated, settled down with her chocolate, unaware that their time together would mark the beginning of a new understanding of love. To be continued. The morning felt heavy as the protagonist woke up, overwhelmed by exhaustion and a sense of heaviness. However, she found some comfort in the presence of her partner. He had something on his mind as he got up. Sasuke urged her to wake up, shaking the atmosphere with his words. She protested, claiming he had no right to disturb her rest, but he insisted that he had made breakfast and that she should join him. She grumbled about his persistence, realizing that her desire to sleep had vanished. With a frown, the beautiful girl finally got up and headed to the living room to see what her chef had prepared. Sasuke expressed his happiness that she had come, teasing that he was about to eat without her. She sat down with a tired look, sipping her coffee, and asked if he wanted to tell her something. Sasuke, caught off guard, simply wanted her to join him after breakfast, urging her not to ask questions. He then headed to their bedroom to get ready, telling her not to disturb him. She responded with playful sarcasm, and he teased her back, enjoying their banter. After that moment, she went about her daily chores and changed her clothes. Sasuke, on the other hand, finished his shower and put on a slightly oversized jacket of hers along with his usual shirt and pants, completing the look with a scarf. He stepped out just as she was finishing up in her winter sweater and outfit, both of them bracing against the cold winter air. Sasuke was glad she had come, and she was surprised to find that the surprise awaited them outside. He assured her she would love it and urged her to hurry before it closed. As they walked, she shivered from the cold, warming her hands with chakra. Sasuke, after contemplating his plans, mustered the courage to offer her his jacket, even though he was already wearing multiple layers. She thanked him sincerely, playfully calling him soft-hearted. They walked in sync through the chilly, cloudy morning, their love blossoming as they arrived at a beautiful, tranquil place. It felt magical, free from ice beneath their feet, with sunflowers drawing their attention. Sasuke revealed that this was what he wanted to show her, and she was overwhelmed with gratitude, expressing her excitement as she hugged him tightly. He felt a warmth in his heart, realizing that she was the true beauty in this moment. An elderly woman named Azumi, who lived in the area, greeted them warmly. She complimented Sasuke's choice in a girlfriend and expressed her hope that he would take good care of her. Tien thanked her for her kindness and offered to help with anything she needed. Azumi declined, instead giving them lighter clothing suitable for the warm weather, encouraging them to change in the nearby bathroom. Sasuke took Tien's hand gently and led her to the bathroom. They spent time together, sharing laughter and recalling moments of friendship and love. Sasuke felt joy in being with Tien, and she noticed how happy he looked. As night began to fall, fireflies illuminated the surroundings, creating a romantic atmosphere. Sasuke held Tien's waist gently, lifting her with affection. He looked at her lovingly, wanting to express something special amidst the beauty surrounding them. He asked if she wanted to spend her life with him, and she responded with a blush, affirming her desire to be with him. Sasuke's heart swelled with joy as he declared his love for her. A smile spread across Tien's face as Sasuke kissed her tenderly, a moment filled with genuine emotion. Their love felt like a beautiful, pure rose. He quickly took her home, excitement bubbling within him. Once inside, he rushed to his room and sat on the bed beside her. Sasuke expressed his desire to share his life with her, and Tien reminded him that she needed to prepare dinner. He playfully urged her not to leave, insisting he would handle it. She laughed, reminding him they needed to eat, but he insisted on making dinner as a way to apologize for any past misunderstandings. He headed to the kitchen, feeling like the happiest man in the world at that moment. Years passed, and their love remained strong. Sasuke and Tien were so happy together that they inspired envy in others. He greeted her one morning, apologizing for not being there earlier. She joyfully welcomed him back, showering him with affectionate kisses. Sasuke teased that if she continued like that, they might have a child soon, but he quickly added that he wanted to wait. Their love was passionate and understanding, filled with celebrations and togetherness, a dreamlike romance. Sasuke promised that their love would never fade, declaring that he had chosen well in having her by his side and that he would make her the happiest woman on the planet. In the end, one wonders if love feels envy when it sees a couple thriving or if it simply illuminates their lives every day. The best ending one could hope for. Naragara. It had been over 2 years since he last saw Tien. He wondered how she was doing and hoped she was well. He missed her dearly. Kankuro entered the room, teasing Gaara about being his favorite Kazekage. Gaara greeted him with a simple good evening. Kankuro asked what was on Gaara's mind, and Gaara brought up Tien, prompting Kankuro to recall her fondly. He playfully suggested that Gaara had feelings for her, to which Gaara turned away, a hint of embarrassment on his face. Kankuro insisted that it was clear Gaara liked her and proposed they help set up a blind date with her. Gaara quietly expressed his interest, though he hesitated to admit it fully. Kankuro, confident in his brother's feelings, declared he had a sixth sense for these things. Just then, Temari entered the room, curious about their conversation. Kankuro informed her that Gaara had feelings for Tien. Temari encouraged Gaara to act quickly, warning him that there were many others who admired her. She mentioned a peculiar group that worshipped Tien, humorously named the Goddess Tien Club for Manly Men, which praised her beauty and grace. She also revealed that Shikamaru had feelings for Tien, indicating that Gaara had competition. Nara Tien sneezed unexpectedly, wondering if someone was thinking of her. She guessed it was Lady Tsunade, who never let her rest, and decided it was best to get some sleep. As the day came to a close, Tien wished everyone a happy day ahead, sharing a sweet treat as a token of her goodwill. She hoped it would be a wonderful day for all and expressed her hope that they enjoyed the chapter.